Smoke clearing from the pyrotechnics here at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina, where we're just about set for the opening kickoff, the opening toss going on right now as we speak. Doug Martin, in his 5th season as the head coach of the Aggies, feels like the program's made a lot of progress offensively, playing as well as anybody in the league, but defensively, Stan, is where they've made their greatest strides.
Yeah, they're very aggressive now. They've changed their defensive scheme. They got players, and we'll talk about some of the defensive backs that can come up and make some plays, and also one of the best linebackers in not only the Sun Belt in college football, and Dalton Harrington. So, yeah, they're a much better football team than people may remember New Mexico State in the past.
Meantime, Appalachian State, led by Scott Satterfield in his 5th season, and the emphasis for them during the bye week was get back to the fundamentals, blocking and tackling and resting those guys that were dinged up.
Yeah, you know, they have played some very physical football games. The Wake Forest game I mentioned earlier in the open, Texas State down in San Marcos, an easy game against Savannah State, and a very physical game in Game 1 against Georgia. They needed a break both physically and mentally. We'll see how they're going to come out fresh on homecoming Saturday in Boone.
Aggies in the crimson and white. Mountaineers in their home black and gold. App State 2-2. They have not played for a couple of weeks since that heartbreaking 20-19 loss to Wake Forest 2 Saturdays ago. New Mexico State at 2-3. They were 42-24 losers at Arkansas last week. Dylan Brown will kick off for New Mexico State. Aggies 0-1 in the conference, Mountaineers 1-0, and we are underway. Ike Lewis will take it 3 yards deep in the end zone. And Lewis to the far sideline. And Lewis close to a 40-yard return to begin this ball game, and great field position for the Mountaineers to start on offense.
Just what you need to get a game started. You're wondering about where the heads are. The first kickoff, you take it into plus 40 territory. A good start for Appalachian State.
Well, the Mountaineers are led by one of the greatest quarterbacks in their program history, Taylor Lamb, 29-11, his starting record. He's number 2 in program history in yards passing and number 2 in touchdown passes behind the great Armonte Edwards. Lewis in motion. He'll take the toss. And Lewis going to be dropped, and then he fumbled the ball. It's loose, and I believe the Aggies have recovered at the 24. And apparently the Mountaineers got on top of it. The Aggies argue, and now they've changed the direction of their point, and the Aggies do have it at the Appalachian State 24-yard line.
Yeah, I thought they had it the entire time. You try to get a little explosion play early, and you go inside. There's a hit there, and when you swung around, that was Lewis. Had the kickoff. That ball bumble and bumble and bumble. Falsimo gets the recovery. And you talk about the defense is so much improved over in New Mexico State from a year ago. We see it on the first play of the game.
That was the corner, Shamad Lomax, who separated Lewis from the ball. And now the Aggies have it 1st and 10 at the App State 24-yard line. And Taylor Rogers, the quarterback. Hands off to Larry Rose. And Rose crashes down to about the 22 as he picks up a couple on the play. Eric Boggs, the leading tackler for the Mountaineers, making the tackle. There you see Tyler Rogers, much like Taylor Lamb. He's number 2 in New Mexico State history in passing yards, now over 8,000 passing yards.
Rogers stands tall in the pocket. They'll roll him sometimes, 6'3", 218 pounds, has got a very strong arm and a lot of receivers to throw to.
Rogers to pass, looking to the far side, throws complete to O.J. Clark, makes a man miss, and Clark down to the 15-yard line. Going to be about a yard short of the first down.
Very few teams have the luxury of having 8, 9, 10 receivers that you can throw to. 13 different guys from New Mexico State have caught passes, and they attack you. Their wide receivers, not the biggest except for Scott, but these guys are quick. They can turn upfield. You saw that then.
Aggies are number 1 in the conference. They've converted 51% of their third downs on 3rd down and 1. Rogers runs it down to the 13.5-yard line, and I believe he's picked up the first down as we take a look at the impact players when the Aggies have the ball.
Larry Rose, the third, 4,000 career yards, rushing number 2 all time. Not a big guy, but a phenomenal guy. They want to get him 20 or 30 touches if possible in this football game. And Clifton Duck, we talked about the wide receivers of New Mexico State. Clifton Duck and the rest of the guys are going to be tested today.
1st and 10 from the 13.5. Rogers across the middle, and it's broken up at the goal line. They were looking for the tight end at the goal line, and it was broken up by the safety, Des Franklin, who stepped in and started today in place of the injured Josh Thomas.
Yeah, Des Franklin, one of the 3 guys that have interceptions for this Appalachian State team. They've not forced a lot of turnovers. Little seam route, tried to find a tight end over the top. Looking for a pass interference. This is a good play by Thomas.
2nd down and 10 from the 13.5. Double running back set now with Huntley in there, and the play gets blown dead. Marshall Lewis is our referee today.
Full start. Offense, number 76. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
So the Aggies pick up their first penalty today. They're 9th in the conference, just at close to 68 penalty yards per game. So 2nd down and 15.
A moment ago, and they went with 2 back set. This time, just the 1 back, that being Rose. They like to throw to him out of the backfield.
Rogers, plenty of time, fires again and throws short at the 5-yard line for O.J. Clark, and now it's going to be 3rd down.
We saw O.J. Clark a moment ago in the open field. This time, Rogers, not a lot of pressure, and that would concern me if I'm Appalachian State. You cannot allow Rogers to find his receivers, pick and choose. He just underthrows this ball.
App State, number 5 in the conference with 9 quarterback sacks already this season. Now a 3rd and 15 situation for the Aggies. Heavy rush comes off the edge. Rogers scrambles to get away with it, throws on the run. Ball tipped up into the air, broken up. That was Des Franklin again, another big play, his 2nd big play on this possession. Now it's 4th down.
Franklin getting the start certainly has answered the bell. They're testing him. The first time he gets the deflection, that time was in great coverage. Thought Rogers could have run the football. May not have been able to get the first down, but I think it would have been a safer play than throwing it in the crowd. Very fortunate for New Mexico State that was not intercepted.
Dylan Brown on for a 36-yard attempt. He's 2 for 2 on the season, a 39-yarder against New Mexico and a 26-yarder against Troy. Kramer the holder, and the ball is up and no good. Dylan Brown misses from 36 yards, so the Aggies fail to cash in on the Mountaineers. Opening 2 minutes here in Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State dodges the bullet. New Mexico State comes up scoreless after recovering a fumble at the 24-yard line. I'm Matt Stewart along with Stan Luter. How big will that be for the rest of this game that the Aggies failed to cash in there?
Well, New Mexico State only scores 23 points in the first quarter of their ball games and only 70 in the first half. So you trying to get some points on the board as quick as possible. And this reminds me in a lot of ways of the first series in the Wake Forest game. Wake Forest took the ball down the field but was stopped and had to kick a field goal. And then it seemed like it gave some momentum to Appalachian. They were fortunate. The fumble didn't cost them.
Lamb, play action, going to fire out here complete to Hennigan. And Thomas Hennigan, who has been a big playmaker for the Mountaineers, picks up a couple on that one. Let's take a look at the impact players when the Mountaineers have the ball.
Well, you're speaking of Thomas Hennigan. He is one of those impact players. The young freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina, has come up and made some big plays, leads his team in receptions with 17 and 1 touchdown. And then there's a guy that I want you to keep your eye on, Dalton Harrington, leads the conference in sacks as well as tackles, always around the football, number 31 in white.
Jalen Moore with the carry, and he picks up a couple of yards right there. Louis Famasino making the tackle, the Mike linebacker for the Aggies. In fact, all 3 of their linebackers, lots of tackles, among the top 10 in tackles in the entire conference. Harrington, who you just mentioned, Famasino, and also Hanks.
And Hanks missed a lot of last week's game with a targeting penalty against Arkansas, so you know he's going to be excited to be on the field. But those linebackers are very active. They're around the football. They make plays.
3rd down, Lamb to the air and fires incomplete. Hennigan, his intended target. Lomax on the coverage, and a 3-and-out here for Appalachian State. Off to a slow start on offense.
They go to Hennigan on the first play. I like that. Jalen Moore, minimal yards, and I think for Appalachian State, they've got to get back as you get into conference play to Appalachian football. And what is that? Pounding the football, letting the run set up the pass. Too much this season, the pass has set up the run.
Xavier Sabach on the kick for the Mountaineers. Freshman out of Melbourne, Australia, averaging 40.6 yards per kick. And Larry Rose, the running back deep to field this punt for the Aggies. A low-lying kick that Rose should have a chance to return. Takes it at the 37. Rose across the 50, the 45, the 40. Rose still on his feet and down to the 27-yard line. The first big return of the season for the Aggies, who had been dead last in the conference in punt returns, and Rose sets them up with great field position.
Man, I don't know if Appalachian this season has seen a guy as speedy as Rose going from point A to point B. You saw the little juke move right there, is able to extend the play. You don't want to get him with a head of steam. This, again, you're looking for positive plays, you're looking for the momentum plays. So far, even though New Mexico State didn't score on that first drive, they've got the momentum right now, starting another drive inside the 35 of Appalachian.
Let's see if this time they can get points on the board. They missed a 36-yard field goal by Dylan Brown on their first possession. Huntley with the carry. Huntley across the 20, the 15, and Huntley down to the 11, but we do have a flag down on the field.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get a hold on that play coming to the outside. Larry Rose may be the guilty party.
Indeed, we do have a hold.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. 10 yards. Remains first down.
That's Sage Doxtater, their sophomore left tackle, who they're very excited about and high on, but he commits the infraction right here.
Yeah, you can see that actually there's one, and there was another hold to the outside of the play. Doxtater goes 6'7", 345 pounds. They'll run behind he and the left side, he and Trujillo.
First down and long now. Rogers back to throw, and it is going to be caught by Lottie at the 18-yard line, so they get a lot of it back right there on the toss to Isaiah Lottie.
Plenty of time again for Rogers to throw. Last year threw for over 2,600 yards and 16 touchdowns. Offensive line's a young line in some spots, but they give him enough time to get rid of it. And Lottie, one of the excellent wide receivers for this Mexico State football team.
Second down, handoff goes to Huntley. Huntley down to the 16-yard line, and he's going to pick up the first down. Jason Huntley, the sophomore out of Arlington, Texas, and Martin High School, their number 2 running back, moves the sticks. It's 1st and 10 at the 16.
They've only had 4 guys that carry the football from scrimmage this season for New Mexico State: Rose, Huntley, and their quarterback. And what they do is that they pass. That run sets up the pass sets up the run, but they can get Huntley in open field. They feel like good things can happen for them.
Handoff to Rose this time. Got a block on the edge. Gets to the outside. Turns the corner at the 10 and submarined out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A.J. Howard, the safety, making the stop, but that's a solid pickup for Rose.
Here's why you like Larry Rose. We've seen his speed, but you now get a chance to watch his patience. Took his time, measured it, got a nice block from Jonathan Boone to the outside, was able to pick up a couple extra yards, and now your second downs are very, very manageable.
Second down and 1. He's number 1 in the nation. Career per game average, 111 yards. He gets stuck at the line of scrimmage that time, however, by T. Sims. Yeah. They lost a yard that time.
T. Sims, Myquan Stout, Markel Clark inside, Caleb Fuller. Those guys that are inside the tackles, they're going to have to be able to find a way to dominate the line of scrimmage and not let Larry Rose get comfortable in his cuts. That time, T. Sims says, I got something for you.
Third down and 4 from the 10-yard line. They can pick up a first down at the 6. Rogers, heavy rush, has to step up, now running. Going to pick up the first down at the 5-yard line. Heady play by the 5th-year senior out of Peoria, Arizona, to run to the sticks and move the chains.
He's rushed for 3 touchdowns on the season. Primarily, he's a guy that likes to throw the football and will stay in the pocket as long as possible. Felt the pressure to the outside that time by Sims. Is able to get to the corner, gets the 1st and goal, and let's see what happens in the red zone for this team. They're 11 out. They've 13 of 14, 11 touchdowns this season, so they've had a lot of success scoring.
Play action. They throw complete to the tight end and a touchdown. Bryce Roberts with his first touchdown catch of the season, and Rogers his 15th touchdown pass, which leads the conference at 6-0 Aggies.
I said because you could see that developing so easy. Watch the inside play fake right there. It freezes the linebackers, and you sneak the tight end out on the backside. Excellent diagram, great catch and play. Bryce Roberts in for the touchdown.
Dylan Brown on for the PATs, 10 of 13 on the season. And he puts it through 7-0 New Mexico State. Aggies have owned the first 5 minutes of this game, and here at the Rock, they have the lead.
New Mexico State with excellent execution. Take your look at 87, the tight end. That's Roberts. He just goes across the formation. But you notice how the linebackers of Appalachian State respected the dive fake. They stood up. Bryce goes behind them. Rogers with another touchdown pass. Good drive for New Mexico State.
Yeah, 6 plays, 27 yards after that huge punt return by Larry Rose. And so the Aggies have had 2 possessions, both of which have started in Appalachian State territory. They've gotten 7 points out of it.
Great field position for them. And now what we talked about, where's your head? If you're Appalachian, you've got to find a way to bounce back.
Ike Lewis will take it at the 2. And Lewis this time gets stopped at the 23-yard line. Fiamacino, the Mike linebacker, playing the kickoff coverage, makes the stop. And so that's where the Mountaineers will go on offense for the 3rd time today. They have negative 13 yards of total offense here so far in the quarter. Last year when they played in November in Las Cruces, at the end of the first quarter, App had over 200 yards of total offense, and the Aggies had 0.
And it was cold and ugly, and nobody wanted to play too much. And Appalachian came down there and took care of business. A different New Mexico State Aggies.
No doubt about it. And very little running room right there. Maybe a yard pickup on the play as the Mountaineers continue to struggle running the ball. That was Jalen Moore on the carry right there. They've had injuries in the running back spot with Moore and Upshaw, but a greater concern is just their inability to run the ball like they're accustomed to.
This defensive line of New Mexico State averages about 285 pounds in weight, but they're very quick getting off the football.
2nd down and 9. Moore gets it again. Cut back for Moore. Right up the middle. There he goes across the 50. One man to beat. And he's finally brought down at the 35-yard line by Ron LaForce. A touchdown-saving tackle. But there's the Mountaineers running attack that they're accustomed to seeing here at the Rock.
It says it's a matter of time. A week off, maybe Jalen Moore can heal. Great blocking at the point of attack. Get to the outside. You talk about Gossett and Hannon. Victor Johnson, they do their job, and then you see Jalen Moore, the leading rusher in the conference last year. What a huge play.
Upshaw now in there, play action. Lamb scrambling around. He's great at doing that. Now he's going to run it himself and step out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
You know, we were just talking about the speed of the New Mexico State defensive front. Well, the front of Appalachian averages almost 300 pounds, and you've got 2 all-conference offensive linemen in Colby Gossett, number 70, and Bo Nunn, number 50. And you're going to run behind those 2 guys. They gave a big hole, and Jalen Moore did the rest.
2nd down. Play blown dead before they can snap it.
Matt, one of the things that's been a big bugaboo for this Appalachian team, and I'm assuming this is going to be on them, has been penalties.
Yep.
They've had huge penalties at the most inopportune times. Good drives last week in the weight game.
Full start. Offense, number 70. 5 yards. 2nd down.
Colby Gossett, the right guard, making his 38th straight start today. You're right. Over 83 yards per game in penalties, which is 11th out of the 12 teams in the Sun Belt.
They've had, of the 4 games they played, they've had 2 of those games where they've had 8 penalties or more. 11 against Georgia, 8 against Savannah State. They were able to win the Savannah game, but they cannot continue to shoot themselves in the foot when they're plus 40.
Handoff goes to Upshaw. Upshaw going to be met at the 34-yard line. Big-time tackle right there by Dalton Harrington, the young man you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
With 53 tackles on the season coming into the game.
53 out of 113 last season. Plays that outside linebacker spot. Very active. Sees the field well. Can run. He's going to be a hard guy to block. You've got to keep him off the point of attack. 3rd
down and 12.
They're showing pressure here. You've got Hennigan locked in man. It looks like he's going to be in man coverage at the bottom of the screen with Lomax, unless Lomax rolls back over.
3rd down and 12 from the 33.
And they'll blitz you from all angles. Here they come.
Lamb being flushed out of the pocket, throwing on the run, complete to Hennigan. And Hennigan down to the 29-yard line. Well short of the first down, however. And now it's going to be 4th down, and let's see if they try a field goal here.
Well, again, the pressure by New Mexico State forces Lamb out of his comfort zone. He's looking, and you see the deep crossing route by Hennigan. What you needed is about 13 yards. You're only able to pick up about 4.
So Michael Rubino, who missed 2 big field goals, including having one blocked in the 20-19 loss against Wake Forest, also had a missed PAT in that game. Left 7 points off the board, and that really cost him big time against Wake Forest. This is a 46-yard kick for Rubino. Kick is on its way, and the kick is no good. And Rubino, who had never missed a kick from inside of 40 in his career prior to their last game, just missed a 46-yarder here today. Back in Boone, North Carolina, first quarter score. Aggies with a 7-0 lead on the Mountaineers. And Stan, how concerned should that be? Or they swore that they were over that Wake Forest game, but they've given up a big play in punt coverage. They fumbled the ball. They've now missed a field goal.
Receiver, but they pick up about 2 or 3 yards. And again, just count the number of times, and you're going to see it a lot with Rogers. He's going to throw the football. He's not getting touched right now. The offensive line doing a good job for New Mexico State.
That was O.J. Clark with the catch. Picked up a yard on that play, 2nd down and long. Rogers, heavy rush. Got a piece of him, and he gets out of it. Throws on the run, and coming back is Jaleel Scott. He can't make the grab at the 46. But a good job by Tyler Rogers to twice elude the rush.
Usually when Eric Boggs gets his hands on you, you're going down. But Rogers, we told you, 6'3", about 220 pounds. Strong legs, is able to break away. Still finds the time to get the ball to Scott. Scott, a sure-handed receiver, lets that one go between his hands. And so another 3rd down situation for the Aggies.
Rogers is number 3 in the nation in completion. Down and long. Rogers firing over this way. It is caught for a 1st down. Jonathan Boone with his first catch of the ball game. They move the sticks at the 42-yard line.
And that lets you see the strength in the arm of Jonathan Rogers. This ball goes across the numbers on a rope. And one of the many wide receivers for this New Mexico State team, Jonathan Boone, 9 catches on the season, knew exactly what he needed for the 1st down. Nice little out route to get the 1st down.
Muse goes in motion behind the line. Toss goes to Huntley. Huntley cuts inside, and Huntley lowers his shoulder and churns it out to the 46-yard line. Picks up about 4 on the play.
One of the things that New Mexico State has taken pride in this year offensively is trying to establish their own tempo. They would like to get about 75, 80 plays if possible, keep the defense off balance, and use the entire width of the field. They've done.
And Rose gets grabbed at the 49-yard line by the defensive end Caleb Fuller, going to bring up a 3rd down and short. I think it's interesting, Stan, that 76 of the Aggies' 107 1st downs coming into this game had come from the pass.
They're a pass-happy football team, that's for certain.
Averaging 350 per game through the air.
Coming in this game, 357 plays they'd run, 241 of them had been passes. Showing pressure again.
And now, let's see, do we have a flag? We do, at the 48-yard line.
Ball start. Offense, number 77. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Isaac McLean, their right tackle, a junior, changes it to 3rd and 7.
Appalachian showed some blitz that time from the edges. So that's the case, keep in mind the middle should be open.
Watch Towns coming off the right edge on the blitz from the linebacker spot. They force Rogers up. He throws, and it's going to be caught at the 43, and that is another third down conversion on the completion to Drew Dan.
They let Kramer clear underneath. He opened up the zone, and you had to respect him on the crossing route, and they brought Drew behind. Boom, and there's a catch.
They're now 3 for 4 on their third downs here today. 51% for the season coming in.
You love it when you keep your numbers, don't you?
Rogers, pressure off the edge, steps up to avoid Stringer, throws to Dan again. And Drew Dan picks up another first down as he's tackled at the 28-yard line by Towns, pardon me.
And you love Tyler Rogers' presence in the pocket. He knew there was pressure coming from his left side. He just easily took a step up, had plenty of time, found his receiver, and keeps the chains moving.
They like Tyler Rogers. They feel like he's got NFL potential. It's 1st and 10 from the 28. Rogers, quick throw to the sideline, is picked off by Hayes. Tay Hayes has to beat Rogers, beats Rogers. Huntley had a shot at him. Now there's a flag down, and Hayes finally brought down at the 25. Tay Hayes with his first interception of the season.
This ball just gets away. It overthrows the intended receiver, and Tay Hayes in the right spot gets it. There's going to be a couple of flags down. I think they may both be on New Mexico State. We're just complimenting Rogers on his pocket presence. That one just gets away from him a little bit. Intended receivers got to kind of make a better play on the football, but that's all Tay Hayes.
Great instincts by Tay Hayes on that play as well, and the penalty is going to be against Apt. Pardon me.
Continue to participate. This is a personal foul. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
One of the New Mexico State players lost his helmet and then continued to play. Like you and I would both do without a helmet too, you know. But when you do that, the moment your helmet goes off, you're no longer able to participate. If you do, it's a penalty on the team.
Yeah, penalty on the Aggies, 15 yards from the spot of the down. And so now it's going to be 1st and 10 for App State at the New Mexico State 13-yard line.
And when your offense is sluggish, you have to have your defense come up and make a play. Only the 4th interception this season for the Mountaineers.
Handoff goes to Jalen Moore, dances to the outside, and Moore's not going to be able to turn the corner as Ron LaForce, the safety at a Bayou La Battery, Alabama, makes the tackle. Bayou La Battery made famous by Forrest Gump.
That's it.
40th tackle of the season for Ron LaForce. He had a career-high 16 last week against Arkansas.
These guys are not afraid to hit you. You talk about guys around the football. 4 or 5 of these guys have had double-figure tackles so far this season. There's motion.
Malik Williams gets that toss. And
game against Troy. Fasamino, who we've already talked about with a recovered fumble, had 16 against UTEP. And don't forget about Harrigan, who leads the conference in tackles. He's had 4 games of 10 tackles or more. I really am impressed with the ideas that New Mexico State has taken across the ball.
And that's Frank Spaziani, the former Boston College head coach, who's now the defensive coordinator for Doug Martin. Lamb throws short for Jalen Moore. Now it's going to be 4th down. Let's see if they try another field goal here. They've had some problems in the kicking game the last 2 games. They bring Rubino back out again. Mountaineers just don't seem like they're quite in sync yet offensively.
You know what, and this is simple to say, it may not be true, but I don't think that they are ready for this speed. These guys are really quick getting off the football. The pressure that time by Harrington from the outside just took him out of his comfort zone.
27-yard kick for Rubino, and this time he puts it through, and the crowd appreciates it. And the Mountaineers are on the board for the first time today. 27-yard field goal by Michael Rubino after the big interception by Tay Hayes. So the Mountaineers turn the turnover into points on a beautiful day in Boone, North Carolina. Couldn't ask for better on this October Saturday.
Homecoming in Boone.
So 7-3, the Mountaineers finally get on the board. wasn't the touchdown they were looking for, Stan, but maybe that's the thing that gets them jump-started offensively here.
Well, a great defensive play by Tay Hayes, but you got to give this New Mexico State defense a lot of credit. They had an opportunity on the Jalen Moore breakaway run. They stopped them, forced a field goal that was missed. And this time they're inside the 20, and they hold them to a field goal.
Just the second all-time meeting between these two teams, and maybe the last since New Mexico State, their final year in the Sun Belt. A year ago, 37-7. The Mountaineers winners in Las Cruces the last Saturday of November to claim a share of the conference championship. Lottie and Huntley are deep for the Aggies. The ball is going to bounce straight up in the air at the 7-yard line and kick out of bounds. Penalty on the Mountaineers. And so that'll bring the ball out to the 35 for New Mexico State for their 4th possession of the game. So we'll see how that impacts the Aggies, that interception that Rogers threw on the previous possession. They were moving along pretty good here until then.
This is good field position.
Yeah. 84 yards of total offense for the Aggies in the first quarter, 43 for the Mountaineers. 19 total plays for the Aggies offensively to the Mountaineers 12. And this will be play number 20 from the 35. Rogers steps up to avoid the pressure. They got a piece of him. He's still in trouble. Throws off that back foot. It's going to be caught out of bounds and complete. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the 35. So 2nd down and 10 from the 35-yard line. They fake the handoff to Rose. Rogers hit as he throws, and it's going to be caught at the 48 and then dropped. Drew Dan couldn't hold on to it. They put a hit on Rogers that time. First time they've been able to get a good solid lick on him.
Outside rush that time again by Fuller and T. Sims, and not allowing Rogers to get comfortable in the pocket and step into the football. Second time he's kind of thrown one a little short. Dan Drew not able to get the reception. So now on 3rd down and long with a team that you know can convert on 3rd down, do you bring pressure or do you drop back?
We'll see. They're 3 of 4 on their 3rd so far today. Rogers steps up and fires, and off the hands this time, and then a flag is out. O.J. Clark had it, bounced out of his hands, but then a flag comes out late. This could be going against App.
Yeah, and I think, I don't ever know anymore about targeting. I don't want to say the T word, but just as quick as this flag goes out on Lamb, on A.J. Howard, they're going to say he hit a defensive
personal
receiver.
Foul, targeting against a defenseless receiver. That play is under further review.
Yeah. O.J. Howard, who is their senior safety, 4-year starter, might be ejected from this game because of that hit right there.
When you look at it from that angle.
There's a look at the targeting rules, 15-yard personal foul and ejection when targeting of defenseless opponent with forcible contact to the head and neck area, and that's exactly the rule that was quoted by the referee Marshall Lewis when he made the announcement. The defenseless opponent and contact to the head and neck area. And I think A.J. Howard was probably heading to the locker room here in a moment.
Yep, I think so as well. And it's very, very similar to the play that Hanks had last Saturday at Arkansas, about this same point in the ball game, too.
Well, A.J. Howard will be a guy that they missed, no doubt about it.
The ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 10 is disqualified for the remainder of the contest. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So they're now 2 men down at the safety position because Josh Thomas, another starter, is out with his leg injury.
And keep this in mind. What did we talk about the penalties? The penalties at key situations for Appalachian State. It was a 3rd down, an incomplete pass. You're getting them off the field, getting the ball as he in the quarter, and now you lose one of your best defensive players, and you keep the possession going for New Mexico State. Tough break for Appalachian.
So number 9, Austin Exford, a sophomore with only 4 tackles on the season, replaces Howard.
And the other 2.
A long throw by Rogers and catch by Dan at the 43-yard line. That was a big-time toss right there from Rogers.
And the other 2 defensive backs on the depth chart, DeAndre Hicks is a freshman, Shamar John Charles, a redshirt freshman. So the depth of New Mexico State, the fact that they use 9, 10, 11 receivers definitely is going to come into play. Some guys are going to have to step up big for Appalachian.
2nd down and 3, and I think this play is going to be under review.
Ruling on the field was a completed catch. Previous play is under further review.
So we'll go back and see if Drew Dan indeed was able to have possession of the ball as his feet were going out of bounds.
A lot of action for 1 quarter, haven't we? Let's take a look at this.
No doubt about it. 2nd consecutive play that's gone under review, and I think there's a strong argument that he might have been out of bounds because his feet leave the ground. Yeah,
watch the knee.
I think he's out of bounds. Actually, I think this is going to go in App's favor. Yeah, because I think he leaves the ground to make the catch, and when his body makes contact with the ground, it's his knee.
Yeah, I was watching catch and the knee, and it looked like the knee hit the ground before the leg did, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yep.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Completed catch.
Wow.
2nd down.
And once again, maybe that knee.
Well, they had to have ruled that he was dragging a toe or something, because it clearly looked like both feet were off the ground, and the knee had hit on the sideline, but obviously they believed that they confirmed that they couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell.
So that's a 2nd down and 3 coming up here for the Aggies at the 43-yard line. I thought that was a review that was going to go in App's favor.
So you've got players out of the game, reviews going against you. You've got to make your own breaks now for your Appalachian.
Rogers fires. That's going to be a 1st down catch and more for Hogan. And Hogan finally out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Another flag down at the 40-yard line. And that was around the point of the catch, maybe a face mask or something.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 10. 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Well, I'm going to stop thinking because as my coach used to say when he would ask me, Stuart, what are you doing? Well, I thought he said, well, that's what you get for thinking.
That's what you get. Nobody asks you to think. We're not paying you to think, but there's a block right there, a little hold. The wide receivers do a really good job running routes. They do an excellent job coming back and helping the block. That time, what's the old thing? If you can read his nameplate, don't hit it.
Right. 2nd down and 8 now. They set up a screen here for Rose. He tries to cut back against the grain and does, and finally gets tackled at the 42-yard line by Towns, Rashad Towns. So they really like this kid a lot, the outside linebacker, a senior out of Macon, Georgia.
Been waiting for this call all afternoon. They try to run a little screen up against the grain. You got to remember Larry Rose goes only about 5'10", 5'11", so sometimes he gets lost among the defenders.
3rd down and short for the Aggies. Rogers keeps it, not going to get there. Going to be stopped by T. Sims, and it's going to be 4th and 1.
If I'm New Mexico State, I wait at the quarter end. It's a job well done, but you get inside there, you can win the point of attack, you can win the line of scrimmage. Some good things can happen for you if you're Appalachian State. Put pressure in that backfield. T. Sims, we've called his name a couple of times a day, the outstanding defensive end with another tackle.
That is the end of the first quarter. A 7-3 lead for the Aggies on a touchdown pass from Tyler Rogers to the tight end Bryce Roberts has New Mexico State in front after 15 minutes. It's 4th and 1. Start of the second quarter, Aggies lead the Mountaineers 7-3. Matt Stewart along with Stan Luter. It is 4th and 1 for New Mexico State at the 41 as we begin the second 15 minutes.
2 out of 3 this season, New Mexico State on 4th down conversions.
A flag drop, and the Aggies may have taken too much time.
Well, that was one of those situations
Offense,
where, okay,
number 78, 5 yards, 4th down.
maybe would have liked to run the play, but no harm, no foul for you. You punt it, try to pin Appalachian deep in their territory.
Brian Trujillo, the left guard, was actually called for movement there. And so now on 4th and 6, the Aggies will punt. Peyton Theisler on to punt for the first time for New Mexico State. And Hennigan back deep for the Mountaineers. A rugby-style kick away from Hennigan. He's going to let it bounce over his head, and the Aggies unable to get to it, so the ball will come out to the 20-yard line. Only 43 yards of offense for the Mountaineers in the first 15 minutes to 98 for New Mexico State. -9 yards passing for Appalachian State in that first quarter. They had come into the ball game number 3 in the conference at 258 a game. I don't know about you, but App State just does not seem like the same Mountaineers team that we're accustomed to seeing. Maybe a little bit of a hangover after that emotional loss to Wake Forest. I don't know.
Well, you have had a week off.
Yep.
You should let that game go by now. It's just a matter of getting out and playing. And there's a lot of things going on in your head. So you got to play. Let's just drive will be better.
Lamb back to pass with protection. Now scrambles to his right. Protection breaks down. Hanks was there, and they throw off balance and out of bounds. Hanks did a good job coming up from the linebacker's spot to keep him from scrambling any further and made him make a decision on throwing the ball.
We told you they'll put pressure on you. The new defensive schemes, 12 sacks on the season by this New Mexico State team, which is second best in the conference. They've got defensive backs that aren't afraid to come up and stick you. Linebackers, they do a good job in coverage, and a nice front 4, front 3 that can put a push on you. They're going to be a tough team to score against. 2nd
down and 10. Handoff goes to Upshaw, and Upshaw gets submarined by Hanks. Great one-on-one tackle by Terrell Hanks, their junior out of Miami, who's averaging 9 tackles a game, tied for 2nd in the conference.
I mean, I just mentioned it earlier about the number of players. I mean, you can go a whole season and have 4 guys in different ball games to have 10 or more tackles. They've got 4 guys that have done it multiple times this year, including Hanks with 12 against Troy.
Yeah, 5.5 tackles now for loss this season for Hanks.
Yeah.
And Coach Martin says the defensive improvement is part Spaziani, the new DC, second year for him, and part new players.
New players with new attitudes, new nasty attitudes. They want to hit you.
3rd down and long, heavy rush, and Lamb is hit as he throws ball up in the air. Going to fall incomplete. The pressure coming from the defensive end, Cedric Wilcox.
They just made the signal, Matt. I was watching the official, and it took a long time to say incomplete pass. But again, the pressure from the outside.
Wilcox, the defensive end, with his 3rd quarterback hurry of the game, and that was more than a quarterback hurry. That was a quarterback hit.
Cedric Wilcox goes about 6'4", 260 pounds. Doesn't mind trying to step up and make a hit. Kid out of Dallas.
Sabotched kicking for the Mountaineers. Line drive kick that's going to be taken at the 45-yard line. And Rose, a flag down. Rose going to step out of bounds at the 40, probably going against the Aggies here.
Yeah, I think they're going to get LaForce with a block in the back. But then we've been wrong before.
Several times in this game already.
So, you know.
But you can see the dynamics of having Rose back there as a punt returner. They had not done well with it in their first 5 games. Putting Rose back there changes the game a little bit.
And it's part of what their strategy has become over this course of this year. Getting the ball in Rose's hands as many different times, as many different ways as possible.
Illegal block on the back. Return team, number 23. 10 yards assessed from the spot of the foul. First down.
You were right that time. It was LaForce.
I got one right. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
There he is. That one was obvious. That was obvious. I can figure that one out. Got a bit of Austin expert. He's got his hands up. What'd I do?
Always a dead giveaway. So 1st and 10 for the Aggies back at their 35-yard line. Rodgers, time, throws, picked again! Duck this time, and duck out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Second pick of the day for the corners of the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Hayes got him one, and now Duck got him one.
Tried to sneak Rose out a little wheel ride up the sideline, and this is right in Duck's Avenue. 5 interceptions last year. Last season, Sunbelt Defensive Rookie of the Year. Comes up with a big stop. And I don't think Rodgers ever saw him. His eyes were on Rose coming out of the hook area. Bam! Clifton Duck with his second pick of the season.
First team All Sun Belt, preseason first team All Sun Belt, second pick of the year for him. And the Mountaineers in business at the Aggies 25. Jalen Moore kind of picking and choosing his way for a hole right there. And he picks up about 3 yards down to the 22.
Appalachian ran out of an I formation that time. Haven't seen him run out of that very much this year, which is definitely the runway. You want to get Jalen Moore, Terrence Upshaw. Get these guys some rhythm. Just make this an ugly football game. It doesn't have to be a 35-34 ball game. They'll take a 10-7 win.
Colby Gossett lost his helmet on that play, so he's got to come out for a snap. That's their right guard, who I mentioned before has made 37 straight starts, 38 today. Number 38 today. First team preseason All Sun Belt. Lamb fires. It's caught by Hennigan at the 14-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
Thomas Hennigan has really been, due to some injuries, Evans and they had to step up with some young guys. He has become the favorite receiver of Lamb. Runs an excellent little short slant route, catches the ball, cradles it, gets that first down, but a nice pass by Taylor Lamb.
Third catch of the day for Hennigan. Hand off Jalen Moore, big hole for him, and he's out of bounds at the 3.
That's the Jalen Moore that set records last year. That's the Jalen Moore that App fans have been waiting to see. Pull to the outside, you're behind Gossett, you're behind Hannon, and none. And watch this, bam! And then he tells him, says, look here, do you understand who I am and who you're trying to hit? It does not work that way. Jalen Moore.
First and goal from the 3-yard line now. Power formation, handoff goes to Moore for the touchdown. And the Mountaineers have a 9-7 lead. Just the second touchdown of the season for Jalen Moore. So all 9 points for the Mountaineers have come off of turnovers by the Aggies, specifically interceptions. Here's Rubino. Critcher, the holder, puts it through. 10-7 lead for Appalachian State on a 3-yard touchdown run by Jalen Moore. 4 plays, 25 yards after the pick by Clifton Duck. The defense helping the offense, and for the first time today, Appalachian State has the lead here at the Rock. As the Aggies head coach, he's one of 6 coaches at the Division I level who's also the offensive coordinator on top of being the head coach.
Having to spend time on both sides, coordinate the offense, be the head coach. It takes a lot away from him, but he's got a great staff, and he feels like, hey, between the staff and what we're doing, good things are happening for North Mexico State.
Rodgers going to throw to Rose, who ran behind him. Rose has a man to beat and can't do it, as Stringer gets him down after just a 1-yard pickup at the 26-yard line.
And you saw pressure, Matt, that time enough to cause Rodgers, and he's got so much confidence in his arm, to throw off his back foot. That ball again was short. You always kind of feel that Rose is your safety valve guy. They know he's going to be around. Appalachian State continues to make the adjustment defensively on him.
Rodgers threw for 344 last week at Arkansas with a couple of touchdowns and 1 pick. Going to step up in the pocket, throw across his body. First down catch for Dan at the 37-yard line, who then got pegged right away by Clifton Duck. And a flag down, too. We'll check the penalty. The Mountaineers seem to think it's going against the Aggies.
The receiver went out of bounds on his own, then returned and was the first to touch a pass. Illegal touching, offense number 9. Penalties lost it down at the previous spot. 3rd down.
That's the 7th penalty on the Aggies.
Wow. Would have been a 1st down.
Yep.
So now you're in a 3rd down and long situation. Appalachian, the last few plays, put some pressure on Rogers, made him a little uncomfortable. They're going to run 3, drop 8 in this.
3rd and 9. Rogers throws. It's intercepted again. Tay Hayes with his 2nd pick. That's 3 picks for the corners here so far today in less than 19 minutes of work.
We just talked about Tay Hayes' impact in this game on the defensive side. This time again, Rogers never looks. Just quickly makes the throw. They rush 3, they drop 8 in the coverage, and this ball goes exactly into Tay Hayes' hands.
What did Rogers not see?
I don't know. I really don't know, because you could see from that end zone shot, he had one receiver in mind. He threw to that one receiver, and that guy happened to be Tay Hayes in the other jersey.
Lamb rolls. Let's see if they go for it all right here. Scrambling. Now he's just going to run it himself and pick up the 1st down. Hanks got to him, trips him up as he stumbles forward to the 13-yard line. But Taylor Lamb can run on you. He had over 100 yards rushing in the Camellia Bowl last year to win MVP honors in their victory over Toledo.
Had a rushing touchdown against Georgia at the beginning of the season. Not afraid to run the ball, but you could see even if he was getting inch and closer across the line of scrimmage, still thinking throw.
Hand off Upshaw right up the middle. Still on his feet. Touchdown. Upshaw right up the middle for 13 yards. It's 16-7. All the points for the Mountaineers have come after interceptions by their corners. McMurray the snapper, Critcher the holder. PAT Rubino, 17-7. Appalachian State using their defense to fuel their offense. Terrence Upshaw bashes in from 13 yards out, and now a 10-point lead for Appalachian State.
Matt, we're in the mountains, so what happens in the mountains? You get snow. What happens when there's a lot of snow? So snowball effect. Tay Hayes jumps a route, gets the interception. 2 plays later, Upshaw gets great blocking. Look at the offensive line just barrel their way. Colin Reed, Nunn, Gossett, Hannon, and Upshaw plows his way from 13 yards away, and it's a snowball. It's snowballing right now. New Mexico State's got to find a way to slow it down.
Terrence Upshaw with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. He's back after missing last year, and they're happy to have him back because Scott Satterfield says they really need to have 2 guys for their running attack to be effective. This is Huntley on the return. Huntley makes a man miss. And Huntley still on his feet. They're trying to strip him of the ball, and he gets up to the 38-yard line. Nice return by Huntley. He picked up an extra 5 as they were trying to tackle the football rather than his body.
And they talk at New Mexico State about getting the ball, and we've mentioned it as well, to Larry Rose 20, 30 times a game. This would be a great opportunity to kind of slow things down, I think, for Rogers. He's trying to go for the big play maybe, not seeing some things, some swing pass, some counter, maybe a draw play or 2, something short to get the ball in Rose's hands to make the explosive play, to get them back in a rhythm offensively.
Well, so far this season, Rose is averaging just 14 carries a game and 4 catches per game. He gets the carry right there, and Rose has the 1st down as Rose gets across the 50-yard line right there. Des Franklin coming up to make the tackle, but a nice run by Rose.
And Matt, that play alone will do wonders offensively for their scheme now. You know, it gives them some room. They get a little confidence. It settles things down with Rogers.
He picked up 11 on that play after picking up 11 on his first 4 carries. And that's Rose again. This time he gets about 3 or 4 before being stood up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Rose has not carried the ball as much this year, only 71 going into this game. But again, his ability to break away, make plays, his versatility in the backfield now as a kick return guy. Try to get him some offensive rhythm and let this big offensive line of New Mexico State start to maybe wear down a little bit and slow this game down, the defensive front of App State.
2nd down and 6. Rogers back to the air, fires to the sideline. That's going to be complete. Short pickup to Kramer, a former quarterback that they moved to wide receiver during spring practice.
Yeah, he started the game. We were talking about the difference in the App State and the Mexico State game. He started the game last year in Las Cruces against Appalachian and threw a touchdown pass and had a couple of interceptions as well. But a very good athlete, that of Connor Kramer.
3rd down and 3. Jaleel Scott has been shut down in this game. They have not been able to get him the ball, the top receiver in the conference. Rogers scrambling, going to try to get to the sticks, and he slides at the 37, picks up the 1st down. Now, let's see where they mark that slide. They backed it up to the 39. He still gets the 1st.
You're thinking the same thing I was. It looked like he took that just a little sooner than maybe need to, but he got the 1st down. And it's interesting, you're talking about Jaleel Scott, number 16, the big, outstanding wide receiver. Appalachian's done a good job in rolling coverage of his side of the field and making him basically ineffective so far.
Hand off to Rose. Rose makes a couple of cuts, and Towns makes the tackle. Rose picks up a couple. But you're right, Jaleel Scott, number 1 in the conference, averaging 7.7 receptions per game. Pardon me, he's number 3 in the conference, 7.7, but 108 yards receiving per game is number 1. He hasn't touched the ball yet.
Has not touched the ball. A huge touchdown, one-handed catch in the first game of the season against Arizona State, and a big game last week, but so far batting 0.
Rogers up top and incomplete, looking for Hogan that time. In fact, he hasn't even been targeted but once, I think. There's their big left tackle, Sage Dockstader, the largest vegetarian in the world, according to Doug Martin. He's gone from 290 to 343 since he arrived on campus.
A lot of pasta, right? Blitz.
Rogers, heavy rush, and Duck got him. That'll be a quarterback sack for Clifton Duck. What a half of football for these two corners, Tay Hayes and Clifton Duck. 3 picks and a quarterback sack between them.
Because of Rogers and all these wide receivers, they knew they would be challenged. They knew they had to step up and make plays. So far, the defensive backs of Appalachian State have carried this team to the goal line. The blitz from the outside. No one picks up Duck. A full head of steam. Nothing Rogers can do. Quack, quack, sack.
So punting situation here as Theisler will kick it away. Line drive kick. Hennigan takes it at the 7. Dances, and the dance ends right there. So deep in their own end, the Appalachian State Mountaineers as they get ready to head back out there on offense. But Clifton Duck, freshman of the year a year ago in the Sun Belt Conference defensively. At 5'10", he's not a big guy, but Nate Woody, their defensive coordinator, says he makes up for his size disadvantage against wide receivers with great leaping ability and his timing and his jumps.
Came from one of the most prominent and dominant high school programs in North Carolina, especially in the Charlotte area, at Butler High School.
Handoff, Jalen Moore, and Hanks gets him on the ground right away. They really do a good job up front, those defensive linemen for the Aggies. They don't get tackles, but what they do is they tie up the offensive linemen, let the linebackers make the stop.
V99, Lopez 51, haven't really talked about him very much today. Bradley, and we've talked about Wilcox 10. They do a really good job of holding up the line and letting those linebackers scrape and come up and make plays.
So 2nd down and 10 after no gain for Moore on that play. Duffield, the tight end, lined up as an H-back, blocking back, leads the way for Moore, who makes a man miss. And Moore still on his feet with a spin move up across the 30, and the pile finally finishes at the 37. That's a big 30-yard pickup.
4 games this year, no Appalachian running back had rushed for over 100 yards. They were worried about the run game. They've been passing a lot. Today, they've made a determination. We're going to pound it, and we've got our guy, Jalen Moore, healthy. And you see exactly what the App State offense could look like when Moore and Upshaw are running full throttle.
Well, that should put Moore now at 95 yards on 9 carries here in the first half. It's still a ways to go in this second quarter. Lamb going to throw it, and it's complete to Hennigan. And Hennigan up to the 48-yard line. That's another first down. Hennigan with his 4th catch of the game.
Taylor Lamb just continues to amaze you. He looked off a receiver, was watching Upshaw on the flat, got his arm settled, changed his arm angle, and found a wide open over the middle Thomas Hennigan. Perfect strike, gets the first down. Appalachian, this is the crispest offensively we've seen them in about 3 or 4 weeks.
So 1st and 10. Keeper by Lamb. Room to run. And he'll go down at the 44-yard line. He picks up 9 on the play. He's just so crafty and so smart. He knows when to hold the ball and run it, when to hand it off.
Son of a coach. He understands the game. He's been around it all of his life. His entire family is into athletics, into football. His mom is one of the official photographers for Appalachian. I spoke to her before the ball game. They're very proud of what Taylor has accomplished. He's going to be probably the number 2 all-time quarterback as far as stats go at this school, but has done a great job. And how about this? He's thrown over 200 passes. Don't want to jinx you, Taylor, without an interception.
Yeah, his dad, Bobby, is the head coach at Mercer.
Yep.
One time the head coach and quarterback at Furman, an old SoCon rival of Appalachian State back in the day. That's another first down carry right there for the Mountaineers as Jalen Moore gives way to Terrence Upshaw on that one, and he picks up the first down.
The 1-2 rushing punch of Appalachian State. The offensive line's getting a great blow-off. Victor Johnson, 6'5", 290, sophomore redshirt left tackle, doing a great job getting rid of his man. It's one-on-one battles right now, and App State's winning them.
1st and 10 from the 33. Upshaw again. This time not going to be able to get away from the tackle of Cedric Wilcox. So Wilcox with the tackle for loss. That'll be his 3rd of the season. Brings up a 2nd down and 12.
Wilcox, Famasino, read this to the outside. It would be, if New Mexico State can find a way to hold Appalachian State out of the end zone, you got to give them a plus for that. But right now, Apps is dominating line of scrimmage play. 3 wide receivers to the top, so you got to wonder where Hennigan is down low. But he's working against his. We talk about Duck being a great defensive back, T. Hayes. We've got some good corners at New Mexico.
Lamb going to throw it, has a pocket, guns it right across the middle, and the ball is out. It ends up in Wright's hands, and that's going to be an interception. Popped right out of the hands of Hennigan and into the hands of Jaden Wright, who was in the right spot at the right time.
Take a look at this. We're in locked-in man coverage, a nice pass. Is that going to be an interception, or are they going to call that a fumble? You see there's the strip play. Shmad Lomax gets his hands on the ball, pushes it in the hand right in the...
Matt Stewart along with Stan Luters. You are watching Sunbelt football from Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina. And a 17-7 lead for the Mountaineers following the interception thrown by Taylor Lamb. And now the Aggies go back on offense.
I'm not going to take the blame for that interception because that was a fluky interception. He didn't throw it and somebody, it bounced off a hand or two, okay? I'm not going to, take the hit on that.
Heavy rush. Rogers dumps it off to Rose, who could not hold on to it. That interception, by the way, for the Aggies was their 9th of the year, which leads the Sun Belt, and 4th in the nation coming into today's game.
A much improved defense. I mean, the proof is in the numbers.
So 2nd down and 10. That's one of the things that Frank Spaziani has done. They've turned up the pressure and tight coverage, man-to-man coverage. They've kind of changed the way they play defense this year, and it's shown. Thrown complete at the 37-yard line. That's a first down catch by Jonathan Boone.
I was talking to some of the New Mexico State people earlier today, and they were talking about the fact that they had difficulty. They went from El Paso to Wichita Falls, and then they had a long layover, about 6.5, 7 hours. They didn't get into Winston-Salem and eventually Hickory, where their hotel was, to about 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. So you got to wonder if fatigue is going to settle in right now on these guys.
Rogers avoids the rush, and then he's going to go down. The ball pops out afterwards, but they're going to rule that Rogers was down at the 38-yard line. That was Chris Willis making the tackle there and knocking the ball out. And this is a big advantage that the Mountaineers have. They will roll in 9 different defensive linemen in the first half alone.
Chris Willis backs up T. Sims. You see pressure to the outside there. Anthony Flory comes in there, but the play that makes it all in is Chris Willis, the redshirt freshman.
Second down, handoff goes to Huntley. Huntley with a big hole, and Flory tackles him, and it's going to be close to a first down.
Wow, those guys, I mean, you've got to be sure tacklers when you play against Huntley and against Rose. And they get by you in a hurry.
First and 10 for the Aggies at their own 48, down to 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the half.
See, Appalachian rotated a couple of linemen there.
Play action, heavy rush. Rogers just has to get rid of it. Let's see if they throw a flag on that. And they do.
There was a receiver about 20 yards away near the sideline on the other side of the hash marks. I don't think that he can buy this and say it wasn't intentional grounding, but we've been wrong before today.
Rogers is pleading his case right now with Marshall Lewis. I don't think he's going to win the argument.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 17. Ball was lost of down at the spot of the pass. Second down.
We talked about T. Sims a couple of times a day. He's getting some pressure there. And you keep that pressure on your quarterback. He makes him very uncomfortable, makes bad decisions. Billy Cecil along to make the play. So now you're getting some momentum, half near over. You'd like to get on the board. Doug Martin looks on. So you got to dial up a 2nd and 22 play.
Handoff goes to Huntley. Huntley with room to run. Across the 50, first down for Huntley and more, tight roping the sideline, and finally out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to spot him out at the 17. That's a huge run for Jason Huntley.
Huntley came into the game with 14 carries and 123 yards. Watch, change the direction right there. And then he just accelerates. One hand on him, a second hand, you can't get him. We told you. These backs are so quick, and then the great balance to tightrope the sideline and pick up another 5 or 10 yards.
I don't know, Stan. He might be faster than Rose. He is really quick. Rogers going to fire this way. That's going to be complete. And then the ball is out afterwards. Let's see if they call that a catch. They will not. Clark could not hold on to it.
Tay Sims on the coverage again.
They've got a pair of all-conference corners right here. Of course, Tay Hayes stepping in after the graduation of Mondo Williams at that position a year ago.
I meant to say, I got Hayes and Sims matched up together. I should have said Hayes. I apologize, but that's who it was.
Handoff goes to Rose, and Rose leans his body forward. And he is down to the 13-yard line. Third down coming up. Clock continues to run. Now at 1:28.
With 3 timeouts in New Mexico State in the red zone, I mean, I think you've got to make this 4-down territory. Use all your timeouts. Try to get first downs or touchdowns quickly. I don't think you want to settle for a field goal, but you can't force anything in the tight windows here.
Third down at 6. Rogers fires. It's caught underneath it, and ball out at the 1-yard line. And did Boone get back on top of it? Apparently he did. It'll be first and goal to go, stopping the clock with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining.
Underneath route, a little shallow cross. Boone, and watch the hit there. Ball clearly comes out. Big time hit by Desmond Franklin, making the most of his first start of the season.
Handoff, Rose gets hogtied by Boggs. Boggs grabbed him around the neck. They lost a yard on the play.
Eric Boggs, one of the top tacklers on this team a season ago, has continued to do that. Very active at that inside linebacker spot.
Preseason first team all Sun Belt, number 5 in the conference, averaging 8.5 tackles a game, and a timeout called by the Aggies to stop the clock with 50 seconds remaining. So the yards are tough to come by right here. Now they've lost a yard. It's 2nd and goal from the 2. They still have 2 timeouts remaining, so the playbook should still be pretty wide open to them.
Oh, I think so. 13 to 14 in red zone opportunities, 11 touchdowns out of this. You really, if you're New Mexico State, you have to get 6, I think. I don't think you can settle for 3. I think you've got to get 6 to kind of melt some of that snowball we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Well, I'll agree with you that 6 would be good, but to get 0 would be terrible.
Would be absolutely terrible.
So I don't know that I agree with you that you got to get 6 because you got to get something.
Psychologically, you need to get a touchdown on the board. Then it's a 1-score ball game.
I don't disagree with that. It's 2nd down and goal from the 2.
Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers. Look for some crossing routes and may try a little pick route.
Or run by Rogers, and he will get into the end zone for the touchdown. That's the 6th stand that you said they needed. They got it. It's 17 to 13.
Good call. Good call by Doug Martin and staff.
4th rushing touchdown of the season for Rogers.
He spread the field, so you know you've got man coverage across the board with your wide receivers. Your offensive line have got to win their battle, and then you got to get the ball across a yard and a half to do exactly that.
Dylan Brown on for the PAT. Kramer, the former quarterback, is the holder. They put it through, and it's 17 to 14 with 46 seconds to play in the half. So that was a big possession right there for the Aggies, the 2-yard touchdown run by Tyler Rogers. And it was all set up by the big run by Huntley to get him down there.
Having fun yet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, we said it off the top. We anticipated a much different game here today than they had back the last Saturday of November when the Mountaineers ran them 37-7.
Well, you had a backup quarterback in. You were playing. It was the last game of the season. New Mexico State really wasn't that motivated. Appalachian was trying to clinch the Sun Belt. They were clearly the favorite. And it's very difficult to play in those conditions, psychologically, physically, emotionally. But today, this is a different New Mexico State football team.
Yeah.
And Appalachian State got their wake-up call, and they're going to be in for a battle in the second half.
That's a big bounce-back drive for Tyler Rogers, too, who thrown 3 picks here in the first half.
No question about that.
Regain a little confidence. Kickoff taken by Lewis. He'll bring it out from 2 yards deep. Ike Lewis down this near sideline, sprint down the sideline, and finally tackled by Harrington at the 48, but there is a flag down at the 25. Appalachian State has been strong in the kick return game today. They're 3rd in the conference in that category.
Holding, return team, number 59. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
So how dramatically does that change your philosophy offensively here, Stan, with 39 seconds to play? If you have the ball at the 48, you can take some shots, but now the ball's back at the 14.
Well, you got some timeouts. I think maybe you try to throw something to the sideline, maybe try to see if you can get more to bust something upside. But, I mean, no risk. Nothing that's going to cause a turnover, a sack, a big hit on your quarterback. Or just take a knee and call in. But look, they got 4 wide receivers. So they're looking to try to maybe get a field goal out of this, if nothing else.
And Jalen Moore is the running back. He gets the handoff, and he's got 1 man to beat. He runs away from LaForce, and he's going to be dropped at the 24-yard line. That puts him over 100 yards rushing here in the first half. He had only 136 in their first 4 games combined.
I mean, we'll talk about it more, but he looks like a totally different player today than what we've seen all season long. That's going to be motion on Victor Johnson.
So that'll back him up 5 yards. Clock stopped with 25 seconds.
Jalen Moore had 8 100-yard rushing ball games last year. Huge game against Akron early in the season with 257 yards.
Full start. Offense, number 75. 5 yards, still first down.
And as we said, with Sun Belt play.
New Mexico State has elected for this, and Appalachian State has elected to use a timeout to prevent the 10-second runoff. This would be a 30-second timeout.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, but more. This is the Jalen Moore we saw last year. He's healthy. He's getting his blocks. He's being patient, and there's an explosion that I haven't seen. I've seen. This is the third game I've seen in Appalachian. There's an explosion that we haven't seen this year out of him.
He rushed for over 1,400 yards last year.
Yes.
10 rushing touchdowns, and he was sharing the backfield
exactly.
with App's all-time leading rusher, Marcus Cox, who finished his career with over 5,000 yards on the ground.
And he, that being of Jalen Moore, was the offensive player of the year. And that just shows you how dynamic that run game is. So now you plug Upshaw in, who did not play last season, and you say, okay, boom, let's get this run game going. Well, defenses have kind of, really packed it in against him. And you played against two very difficult run defenses, one in Wake Forest, the other in Georgia. But today we're seeing the Jalen Moore that we all have known and loved over the course of last season.
Jalen Moore this time not going to find much running room as Falmacino makes the tackle, leading the way for the Aggies. And the clock continues to run. App has all their timeouts remaining, but they're not going to take any here. They're going to head to the locker room, and that is the end of the first half. So 17-14 Mountaineers as we've reached the end of the first half. A big first half for the Mountaineers corners. 3 picks and a quarterback sack. We start the third quarter here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. They call it The Rock. It's hard to come here and beat App State, like breaking a rock. But App State in a battle here today against this New Mexico State team, vastly improved, overcoming 3 interceptions in that first half to be down only 3 here as we start the third quarter.
It's hard to travel across the country, play a team that very rarely loses at home, and the team is really, really good too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things against New Mexico State, but they've handled themselves accordingly in the first half.
Huntley's going to take it at the 2-yard line. And Huntley going to be dropped right away at the 18-yard line. Good kick coverage that time by the Mountaineers.
That last drive, we talked about getting the ball in Larry Rose's hands different ways, not necessarily stretching the defense, trying to use swing passes, draws, type thing like that. He's touched the ball 11 times, not counting a couple kick returns. Their goal is to get him 25 to 30 touches. Let's see if they try to give us a steady diet of Larry Rose, and if that can open up some of these outstanding receivers.
Well, Rogers has to stop throwing interceptions. All 3 of his interceptions have been to the boundary. All passes to the sideline here. They start this third quarter a little bit. Carry of the game, he had 34 yards in the first half.
And again, not trying to pick on Rogers, but certainly the film won't lie. He was very, very careless in a couple of those throws.
So second down and long for the Aggies. Just underway in the third quarter, down a field. Rush is coming. They got to him and the ball is out. And the Mountaineers, I think, have recovered. T. Sims appears to be on top of the ball at the 16. No signal from the officials yet. And they're going to say he was down, that Rogers got back on top of it.
Let's see, there's his arm. No, he loses the football. There's the pressure there.
Yeah, Towns hit him from behind, knocked the ball loose, and Rogers was able to get on top of it. Although it originally ricocheted right into the hands of Sims.
Yeah. Clearly you could see that Rogers held on it for long enough. Third down.
Third down, Aggies have to protect the football. They run a screen to Clark, and Clark gets dropped right away at the 16-yard line. Boggs is there, Towns is there, no running room whatsoever for the Aggies on that. A 3-and-out for New Mexico State to start this third quarter.
5 out of 9 third down conversions in the first half for New Mexico State, a team that's over 50%. We talked a lot about the speed of the defensive backs and linebackers of New Mexico State. The linebackers are pretty quick of Appalachian. You saw that on that play, quickly covered the tunnel screen.
App came into the game number 3 in the nation in 3-and-outs. Line drive kick. The Hennigan's going to have a chance to return. as he takes it at the 38. And Hennigan up to the 48, close to it, 47-yard line. So good field position for the Mountaineers. They get that 3-and-out stop, and they win the field position game here.
Continue with the dive. 30 plays for Appalachian State in the first half, 165 yards. They had some short yards to pick up for touchdowns, but the thing I'm most impressed with, the 110 yards on 11 carries by Jalen Moore. I think you continue to pound the rock with Jalen Moore.
Taylor Lamb had only 9 yards passing in that first half, 6 of 11.
And that's quite a contrast from what we've seen in the other 4 football games of Appalachian State, where the passing yards has been much more than the run yards.
Handoff, Jalen Moore runs right into the arms of the defensive end, Stody Bradley, and then a flag comes out. Holding is going to be the call against the Mountaineers.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10 yards.
Who's been starting since his freshman season, a preseason second-team All-Sun Belt selection. But that's his second penalty of the game.
Yeah, 6 penalties on the ball game. And again, the thing that I think about when I think about this App team, watching them on tape, that they've had great drives and have been stopped by penalties.
So now 1st and 20. That's Malik Williams in motion behind the line. Lamb going to swing it out here. Off the hands of Moore. He better get on top of that thing. Now they rule it incomplete, and it's going to be second down, pardon me. They felt like coming into this ball game that they would be able to throw the ball to the field, to the wide side, set up some screen passes. Haven't seen a whole lot of that. Basically what we've seen is them establish the run.
Well, that's what they want. The screens, let's go to the field side. Haven't had to use that. That was an opportunity there. I'm not certain Hedmore caught that ball would have resulted in a big game.
Now he's going to throw the ball dangerously to Malik Williams, who gets dropped at the 39-yard line by LaForce.
And that's that RPO that has become so much in vogue in college football over the last couple of years. You see Lamb, you think he's going to take the option, and that's what Coach was alluding to, taking off with the pass if the defensive end comes up to make the cover.
So 3rd down and 16, what I thought was a very dangerous play right there. And the Aggies will try to get a 3-and-out.
To Hennigan, he's at the top of the screen.
Running option this time, and Lamb's going to keep it. He's got some room, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line by LaForce again, short of the first down in a punting situation likely for the Mountaineers. So a 3-and-out for the Mountaineers offensively after getting one defensively. For the Aggies back at the 11-yard line, he had a big return on their second possession that set up their touchdown, their first touchdown of the day. Sabach on the kick. Good kick. Hits at the 4 and then just barely kicks into the end zone, so the ball will come out to the 20. That's where the Aggies will have it for their second possession of the third quarter when we get Carolina early in the third quarter, down 3 points. Doug Martin says the big difference in his team this year is they now believe they can win every week rather than just hoping to win every week.
Exactly.
Aggies at 2-3 on the season. Victories over New Mexico and UTEP. That's their two big rivals. Pass is complete. Wide open for Boone. Lots of running room for Jonathan Boone. And all the way down to the 34-yard line and a flag out in the middle of the field.
This is going to be a big play, first down, but it's not going to be as much as it could have been. I think they're going to. But again, plenty of time, very reminiscent of what we saw in the first quarter of the football game. Rogers, with plenty of time, is able to dissect the defensive secondary for Appalachian State.
10 yards, That still results in a first down.
You see it right there. See Huntley?
But that's a killer of a penalty right there. That turns out to be about a 23-yard penalty because instead of having the ball at the 34, they're back at their 43.
Yeah.
That is the 9th penalty on the Aggies today. They've been penalized more than Appalachian State, but not as many yards.
They had 11 against UTEP, won the game, had 10 against New Mexico, won the game.
Hogan with the catch, and he's down to the 48-yard line. And we have not seen Jaleel Scott at all. In fact, I don't even know if he's in the game.
Yeah. They went off the field so quickly.
We'll try to see if there's any kind of an injury situation that we have missed. We did not see him go off the field. That's Rose on the carry right there. But Jaleel Scott has been a non-factor, the number 1 wide receiver in the Sun Belt Conference. He has been targeted just once, and he has not had a catch today. So 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 50-yard line. Aggies 5 of 10 on their 3rd downs today, and it's broken up. Nice play by Clifton Duck again. Trying to get the ball to Rose out on the sideline, and once again, Clifton Duck comes up with a big play to force 4th down.
Clifton Duck, quack, quack, making plays again. 5 interceptions, 13 pass breakups last year, his 3rd PBU of this season, always around the football, playing with some defensive rhythm.
Now they're going to run a fake, or so it appears, and now they force Appalachian State to call a timeout here. They changed their formation, and Appalachian State has to burn a timeout. Well, the officials, I believe the signal was that App had called the timeout, but I'm not sure yet.
Defense, number 44. 5 yards, results in a first down.
Well, even better, because that's a first down for the Aggies. So watch them here, if we've got that replay, how they changed the formation, and by changing their formation, they caused the Mountaineers to jump off sides.
They did a similar thing in the game against Wake Forest and kept a drive alive.
So 1st and 10 for the Aggies. Smart play there by Doug Martin as they pick up the first down with some subterfuge. Handoff goes to Huntley. Nothing that time as Chris Willis grabs him and won't let him go. Short game.
And no one seems to know. Trying to find some information from the staff at New Mexico State if Scott is injured or just hasn't been playing in this football game. So
2nd down and 10. Rogers guns it wide open at the 25-yard line. That's O.J. Clark, and Clark down to the 15.
And you may not need Scott when you've got O.J. Clark making big plays along with Huntley. Again, look at this from the end zone. Deep drop, throws it right in the seam. Huntley with a great catch. Went up and got the football with 2 hands. Ducks and then picks up another 5 or 6 yards. Great pass by Rogers. Excellent catch by O.J. Clark.
4th catch for Clark. It's 1st and 10 for the Aggies at the Mountaineers' 15-yard line. Huntley with the carry. And Huntley runs right into the pile, and they move it a couple of yards, and that's it. Target down here, too. He's a 6'6", 215 kid that can go up and get it. So very surprising that he's not out there.
And you look at those corners for Appalachian. Hayes is about 6 feet tall. Duck is about 6 feet tall.
Empty set. On 2nd down, Rogers scrambling, being chased by Towns, throws on the run, and it's caught at the 8-yard line. That is a reception by Dan. Drew Dan with the catch, close to the sticks.
One of the things that's really impressed me watching this team on film the last 2 weeks is their wide receivers. They block downfield and they come back. Look at Dan. Dan, he's giving the quarterback a target. He comes back to get the football, not allowing the defensive back to make a play on it. Solid pass and catch.
3rd down and 4. Aggies 5 of 11 on their 3rd downs. Rogers approaching 200 yards passing in this game. And a flag out and illegal motion. 5-yard mark-off coming against the Aggies right here, their 10th penalty of the game.
Can't talk about it enough that Rogers.
Ball start. Offense, number 58. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Refused to go down a moment ago, kept the play alive, even though they're going to lose yardage eventually. But I'm really been impressed with the fact that he continues to just try to make plays.
So 3rd down and 9. Pocket breaks down, heavy rush. Rogers steps up and fires. It sails on him out of bounds, and it's 4th down.
But avoided the sack that time.
I don't know whether that ball was high, and now a field goal situation here for Dylan Brown, who missed a 36-yarder earlier in this game. This will be a 30-and-a-half-yard kick from the left hash. So a 30.
South Carolina.
Covering
Georgia State. Our buddy. He's a good guy, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Hope he's off the beach by now. You know, Sam likes to play tennis and stuff. He might be down there trying to play get another set in and miss the first half.
Ike Lewis from the 2-yard line on the return. And Lewis makes a man miss, and another. Lewis still on his feet, coming to the 30-yard line, and Lewis all the way up to the 35. Nice return by Ike Lewis before finally being tackled by Drew Dan.
Had his momentum in this football game. Let's see if this can do the same. Good field position at the 35.
And I was doing a scan of the sideline during our timeout to see if I could find number 16, Jaleel Scott, over there. I do not see him on the Aggie sideline right now. Doesn't mean he's not over there, but I can't find him, and we don't have any information coming right now as far as an injury. It's just very unusual that the number 1 receiver in the Sun Belt Conference has had one targeted throw to him today, and he hasn't been on the field here in the second half for sure. As App starts this possession on offense, handing the ball off to Upshaw, and he picks up about a yard on the play.
And if you're Appalachian now, you want to go to your bread and butter. You want to try to establish some dominance. This game is closer than you would have wanted to be. You try to kind of establish some things. The short because the run game hasn't done so. Right now, I think you kind of run the ball to set up that short passing game.
2nd down and 9. Lamb throws complete out here to Ike Lewis, and Lewis up to the 43-yard line, and that's going to be a little bit short of the 1st down. They had come into this game saying that they wanted to get Lewis the ball more. That's his 2nd catch. He's been very effective in the kick return game, but just his 2nd catch.
Speedy guy, had 4 catches in the Wake Forest game a couple of weeks ago. They'd like to use him to stretch the field. They can get him out of the backfield, as you saw just then.
And, of course, they're a big man down in their wide receiver core with the announcement that Shaden Metters is going to be redshirted this year. Just nagging injuries that the preseason first-team All-Sun Belt wide receiver has not been able to overcome.
But with Metters being out, Hennigan has developed into the new star.
No doubt about it. Handoff goes to Upshaw, hurdles a man and won't be able to get to the sticks, however, as he's dropped at the 43-yard line by Terrell Hanks, and it's going to be 4th down.
Great job defensively by Hanks and company of not allowing the running back to get to the outside and turn the edge. Kept him inside where there was some help, closed down the play, and stopped Appalachian in 3 plays.
Jaden Wright going to return this punt. So Rose not back to return this kick. Wright is this time. He earned all Sun Belt honors a year ago. He's standing at the 15 for this punt from Sabach, a rugby-style kick to the far sideline that will not be returnable. and downed at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Aggies will go on offense with 5:32 to play in the third in a tie ball game, 17-17 in Boone, North Carolina. Aggies average 351 in the air per game. They're at 177 so far today.
And the reason why, you've got an abundance of wide receivers. Your best receiver not in the game, but other guys are stepping up and making plays. That was Boone. There's a crossing route. Great catch and spin inside Huntley. Finding ways to get receivers down the field, and when you give Rodgers time, bam, he's right on the money.
Rodgers has thrown to 8 different receivers in this game, but not one of them has been Jaleel Scott, their number 1 receiver, who had 35 catches in the first 5 games, and no running room right there on that first play from scrimmage as they lose a yard on the play.
So much versatility from their wide receivers. You said they've had 8 different guys catch it. They've had 4 games this year where they've had 9 guys or more and 11 in the UTAP win. So if you're a wide receiver, you want to come and play, New Mexico State might be the place for you.
Second down and 11. Rose with the catch. He slipped and regains his composure and scrambles up to the 25-yard line, bringing up a third down and about 6.
Thought his knee may have touched the ground. Rose quick enough not to let that knee hit, keeps his balance, and here we go. Third down and about the long 6. A moment ago, Appalachian kind of sat back in some zone. New Mexico State was able to dissect it.
3 on the play. Myquan Stout, their all-conference nose tackle, was the guy to force him to get down to the ground. Second down and 7.
Usually New Mexico State doesn't win time of possession. They're averaging about 26, 27 minutes in time of possession. In the first half, they were winning time of possession. Why do you say that? Because they're getting closer and closer to the 80 plays, which is usually their team goal. Keeping Appalachian defensively out on the field and looking for the big play on the offensive side.
And right now they still have a 4-minute time of possession advantage, and Rodgers going to take a sack. Towns got him at the 30-yard line. Rashad Towns with his second sack of the season.
He had a big sack in their win down in San Marcos against Texas State a couple of weeks ago. The pressure that time, Rodgers not able to get away. Rashad Towns, the senior, brings the quarterback down, says, yeah, I'm feeling that.
They love his versatility because he can get pressure on the quarterback like you just saw. He can also drop into coverage and defend the wide receivers. It's third down now. Rodgers cranks it across the middle, and Kramer can't get to it. Letting just a little bit too much, but he was open at the 42, and now it's going to be fourth down.
That ball had just a little too much air on it. You led the receiver to the open spot. And look at the strength of that arm, and just not able to out there and get that. It's Kramer. Appalachian gets away with a huge break there. You throw it into coverage, and you got a guy with a strong arm like Rodgers, and you still feel like you can score there. Uh-oh!
And the ball is going to be recovered at the 22-yard line. What a huge mistake for the Aggies as they were getting ready to punt it out of their own end, and now Appalachian State will take over.
Is this a candidate for you had one job to do?
Yes, it is.
And you got one job and one time to do it, and it didn't work out too good. A big break for Appalachian State.
Isaiah Lottie was running behind the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped right into his leg, and the Mountaineers with a golden opportunity right here from the 23-yard line.
Wow.
Handoff, Jalen Moore going to get wrapped up by Jaden Wright, who gets him on the ground after about a 4-yard pickup. But
Jalen Moore just looks quicker today than I've seen him at all this season. He's attacking the hole.
We're now getting information from New Mexico State that Jaleel Scott is injured and will not play the rest of the game. So second down and 6.
Tough break for the Aggies. They played well without him. We'll see what he can do down the stretch.
Lamb, pressure, fires to the outside and disconnects with Moore. Moore was there. That was perhaps a touchdown waiting to happen. Now it's third down.
Moore came up just a little gimpy on that run a second ago. Wasn't sure if it was his shoe or was trying to stretch out a cramp. And I'm not sure that he's still strong and feeling the ill effects of that play. Didn't really stretch out for that play, and like you said, had the whole right side available if he catches that for a touchdown possibility.
So 3rd down and 6. Ball at the 19-yard line. All of App State's points have come as a result of a turnover by the Aggies. And this is another turnover by New Mexico State that's put App State in position to try to score again. Lamb wrapped up, is intercepted by Wright. Wright interception at the 10-yard line. And Wright still on his feet up to the 34 as Lamb throws his 2nd interception of the day.
Lamb comes up shaky, but again, they blitzed. He beats the pressure, he's got a hand on him, just throws this ball up, thinking he's going to try to make the big play, overthrows, and Wright gets his 2nd interception of the afternoon. And normally 2 quarterbacks that don't make a lot of mistakes, trying to maybe force the play, making something out of nothing. Can't fault Lamb on the idea initially, don't throw that ball into traffic like that.
And I don't know that we've said enough. We've sang the praises of this New Mexico State defense today, but they've held the Mountaineers to 167 yards of offense and now 2 big interceptions. Rogers on the keeper up to the 41-yard line as he picks up about 8 on the play. Down to the final 90 seconds of the 3rd quarter. This game is anybody's game as we get ready for the 4th.
I'll say. And you like the comfort and the confidence that New Mexico State is playing with right now. And you've got Appalachian a little bit on your heels. You say that by the mixed direction of the play.
Right up the middle. Larry Rose down to the 44-yard line. A 1st down in Mountaineers territory.
You widen the field, you widen it, then you try to throw something up to good inside off tackle as you see Rose coming up a little limpy on the play. But again, the versatility in the offense of New Mexico State.
I'll tell you what, New Mexico State has done a really good job of sucking the energy out of this building, too. Play action. Rogers across the middle, incomplete. Boone was open, threw it short. Duck was there in coverage.
Duck did a really nice job of kind of jumping inside the defender, but that's a pass where if Rogers has the time, you lead him right to the post, it could have been 6.
2nd down and 10 from the 44.
And you're in the problem now for Appalachian. When you're seeing one back, are you going to try to blitz the quarterback Rogers, knowing that if he can get rid of the ball, it could result in a big play?
2nd and 10. Comes to this side. It's complete to Clark. O.J. Clark slips a tackle. Still on his feet. Clark all the way down to the 25. I thought he might have stepped out of bounds earlier, but they did not indicate that. That is a huge gainer for the Aggies with 38 seconds to play here in the 3rd.
In the open field. Watch Drew Dan, number 9. Maybe we won't see it on this replay right there. Fans are looking for a block in the back or clip by Drew Dan. Officials didn't give him that call, and Clark's able to pick up an extra 5 or 6 yards.
They spot it at the 26 with 25 seconds, clock rolling here in the 3rd quarter. Huntley tries to get to the outside, finds the edge inside the 20, steps out of bounds at the 18, 9-yard pickup.
Man, I can't talk enough about the speed of these running backs to get to the outside. I thought that was going to be a loss by Huntley, and he's able to just turn it into 2nd gear and get to the outside and pick up 8 yards.
Is there a football game going on here? Because there's no crowd noise whatsoever. You hear the PA, and that's it.
And you and I.
Handoff goes to Huntley. He's going to pick up the 1st down at the 15-yard line on the final play of the 3rd quarter. And that is the end of 45 minutes of play. As we get ready for the start of the 4th, we have an official upset alert in Boone, North Carolina. Aggies and the Mountaineers tied at 17. Despite their turnover in that 3rd quarter, they'll have it at the 15-yard line of the Mountaineers when we get back. Taylor Lamb's mother working the sidelines as an official photographer as she does for all home games, hoping that she's not photographing an upset by New Mexico State. We're tied at 17.
Yeah, she does all the games. She travels with the team.
Rogers on the first play of the fourth quarter, long throw to the boundary, and it's caught by Dan out there as he lunges forward to the 8-yard line. Meantime, Daddy Lamb, the head coach of the Mercer Bears, got a big win today as they beat the Citadel 24-14.
And she was very concerned about that. She was showing me some pictures of some things before the game.
But not concerned enough to be there with him.
No, she follows her baby boy. She follows Taylor.
Meantime, the Aggies have it, first and goal to go at the 8-yard line. Pardon me, second down and 3. They have not picked up the first and goal to go to yet. Rogers back to pass, goes to the end zone, jump ball, and incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Isaiah Lottie. This is where they really missed Jaleel Scott, the 6'6", 215 wide receiver.
Exactly. Tried to do a little inside rub route there, and you'll see to the outside is Lottie. They're just not able to get this football.
And again, Jaleel Scott, one of the top wide receivers in the Sun Belt Conference, injured and unable to play the rest of the day. Handoff goes to Rose, lowers his helmet, and he's down to the 2-yard line. A big first down carry for Larry Rose.
And I was just about to say before the play started, do you stay with what you do, the short passing game, or with the width of the field, you try to go inside tackle with a guy like the option play with Rogers, or do you go with Rose? And they answered that by going inside with Rose. And he was hit about the 4 and was able to pile into about the 2-yard line. First and goal, Aggies.
Ball at the 1-yard line, first and goal to go. Rose lined up next to Rogers, going to get the handoff, and Rose takes it in for the touchdown. And New Mexico State here in the opening 1 minute and 16 seconds of the fourth quarter has taken a 23-17 lead in Boone.
Give the offensive line a lot of credit for New Mexico State. They've traveled a long way. They said we may as well hit somebody while we're here, and they've done a great job. McLean and Smith and Candelari, Trejo and Dox Tata, the guy that doesn't eat a lot of meat. He's getting all the food he needs in black and gold jerseys today.
Doesn't eat any meat, and the extra point by Brown is good. That makes it a 24-17 lead for the Aggies, an official upset alert here in the Sun Belt Conference on this first Saturday of October. "13 minutes and 44 seconds away from potentially a huge upset in the Sun Belt Conference. Appalachian State at home trailing New Mexico State 24-17 after the touchdown run by Larry Rose.
You know, we were talking to the coaches. They said they would like to have 20 to 30 touches for Rose, right? Well, at the end of the quarter, he had 12 rushes. He had 2 punt returns and 3 catches. Not to count the touchdown drive with a couple plays. So he's almost at his 20.
Ike Lewis out across the 30. Again, another huge return for Ike Lewis, who gets it up close to the 50.
Wow.
I agree with Coach Scott Satterfield. They need to get the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Well, I'm telling you what, he's done a great job in the return game. That's 4 returns. He's averaging about 25, 30 yards on kick returns, has given them excellent field position once again. A lot of time to play, 13-35. Not to panic, but definitely to be concerned.
Just how big of an upset would this be? Well, Appalachian State has won 21 of their last 23 conference games. They were picked to win the conference championship. The Aggies were picked to finish 10th in the conference. Handoff goes to Jalen Moore, runs into his own man and gets dropped for a loss back at the 46-yard line by Terrell Hanks.
Yeah, DeMarcus Owens, give him a lot of credit, number 4, for going in there and muddling up this play and getting Moore basically to run on top of one of his offensive linemen, slow him down, and then the rest of the guys come up and make the play for a 3-yard loss.
Hanks now with 8 tackles today, 3 of them for loss. He's been their leading tackler on this afternoon in Boone. Lamb fires and broken up by the cornerback, number 4, DeMarcus Owens.
Owens back-to-back big plays. A defensive play along with Hanks. This time comes up with the pass breakup.
And you can see it, what Doug Martin told us.
Exactly.
The mentality of this Aggies program has changed from one that hopes to win to one that believes they can. Target, Lomax breaks it up, and it's 4th down.
Lomax, one of the best defenders in the Sun Belt Conference, refused to give up edge and then also worked Hennigan into the sideline. That was going to be an impossible catch. Watch Lomax 22. See, there's a little contact here, but they're both fighting for the ball. And had Hennigan caught it, he was out of bounds anyway. Good coverage that time by New Mexico State's Shemad Lomax.
He was the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week back in their 41-14 victory against UTEP. He had 3 interceptions in the first half with a pick 6. He's had a good game here today as well. Sabach going to kick it. Rugby-style kick away from Rose, and it's going to roll dead at the 20, and that's where the Aggies get it back with 12 minutes and 45 seconds to play here in the 4th quarter.
And a team that likes to throw the football as much as New Mexico State does. 21 to 36, 3 interceptions as the 3rd quarter ended. They're still controlling time of possession.
What a huge win this would be for Doug Martin if they could get it. Just 12-41 here in his 5th season. Former Kentucky quarterback. Played for Fran Kersey and the Wildcats. He was an offensive coordinator nearby East Carolina. I say nearby because it's in the state of North Carolina. Nearer than he is in New Mexico State.
Yeah, he's closer than he is.
So right here at East Carolina, he was the head coach at Kent State. In his 5th year as the head coach, the Aggies just recently got a 3-year contract extension. Rogers going to run it across the 25, across the 30, and slides down at the 32. That'll be a 1st down.
Rogers has settled down from those 3 interceptions in the first half, making good decisions. Appalachian did a really good job of defending everything deep, taking away the flat routes. So Rogers sees an opening up the middle, takes it, gets the 1st down.
So 1st down and 10. There's no doubt you and I looked at each other after that 3rd interception, and we thought there's no way this kid's coming back from this, but it has not kept him from doing his job and doing it well. Handoff goes to Rose up to the 45-yard line. That's another 1st down. Back-to-back 1st down runs by Rogers and then Rose, and they pushed the ball up to the 46.
And this offensive line, they're smelling it right now. They are blowing Appalachian State's front 3 anyway, off the ball. Watch to see if they can dominate the line of scrimmage on this play. They do.
Rose again gets away from Sims, but will not get away from T. Sims right there. I meant Willis, and then Sims made the tackle.
Well, it wasn't total domination, but they pushed him off the ball. There's a lot of time in this football game, and what New Mexico State's able to do, they're picking up 2, 3, 4, 5 yards a pop, grinding this game out, and then there's always a threat of the passing game.
Aggies now have a 10-minute time of possession lead in this game. Off the hands and intercepted. Tay Hayes with another interception. 4 interceptions for the cornerbacks of the Appalachian State Mountaineers today.
In control, the ball goes off the receiver's hands. That's Connor Comer. And Tay Hayes, watch this right there. He gets it. Interception. Back in business, Appalachian State. We talked about it earlier. If your offense isn't clicking, your defense has got to step up. The defense has done it once again.
3rd interception of the day for Tay Hayes. 4 total for the cornerbacks because his partner Clifton Duck has one too. Can you win a game when you throw 4 interceptions?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Well, they still have the lead, but now the Mountaineers go back on offense at their own 46-yard line. Upshaw, no running room right there. Tackle made by the defensive tackle Roy Lopez. Pick up a 3 on the play.
Upshaw's getting up a little slow. Now you're able to pick up 3, maybe 4 yards. If you can get ahead of the chains on 2nd down, then it's not a bad run. You know, you still got a lot of time. You don't want to just go crazy, try to throw the ball, get another interception, take yourself out of a potential comeback. You're only down 1 score. There's a lot of time in this game.
Upshaw, senior, got to give him credit. He had some academic difficulties, kept him off the field last year. He could have bailed and said, I'm done, but he came back for his senior year. Big reason why this App State team has won 2 of their first 4 games. Catch by Ike Lewis, back shoulder throw there. Great adjustment by Lewis on the play. Picks up the 1st down at the 38.
It really was. We talked about Lewis's explosive ability on kick returns. Haven't called his name a lot as far as receiving, Only his third catch of the afternoon, but he couldn't come at a bigger and better time. Little back shoulder catch. Feet inbounds, stops the clock, first down.
1st and 10 at the 38. Williams goes in motion. Going to run option with Williams there. Lamb's going to keep it instead. To the 20, the 15. Lamb's going to get to the end zone. Well, Stan, you kept waiting for Taylor Lamb to do something, to make a big play, and he just did. And the Mountaineers are down 1.
He's a leader. He's a senior leader, one of the winningest quarterbacks in Appalachian State history. He's going to go down as maybe number 2 all-time as far as records goes. He understands the game. Son of a coach, mom taking pictures, everything working your way, and he gets the big touchdown.
Rubino on for the PAT. No doubt his dad, Bobby, is watching this game, since Mercer's already done for the day, having picked up a big victory themselves over the Citadel. And the PAT is good, just barely. Rubino's had some struggles there. He just squeezes that one in the upright. It's tied at 24. Taylor Lamb with a big 38-yard touchdown run. App State pulls even with New Mexico State, 24-24 on the 38-yard touchdown run by Taylor Lamb. Matt Stewart along with Stan Luter, thanks for joining us. What has turned out to be an incredible ball game here in the mountains of North Carolina. Scott Satterfield with a win today will become the 5th all-time winningest coach in App State history. But it has been a battle with the visitors from Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Their 10th touchdown they've scored this year. 2 minutes or less. They have to earn every point this afternoon. And now, ball in New Mexico's court.
Huntley up to the 24-yard line, and that's where the Aggies go back on offense. I asked the question, the rhetorical question. You said they can. Can you win a game when you throw 4 picks? And that's exactly what Tyler Rogers has done here. In fact, the Mountaineers have scored all their points after interceptions thrown by Rogers.
Well, when you really think about it, a couple of those interceptions, 2 of them, I would give to Rogers. The other 2 were deflections, bad plays. So you got to just forget that. I mean, he's got to be like a really good basketball player that shoots a lot. You miss one, hey, you got to shoot the next one. This is what they do. So he's going to throw the ball, but you got to be smart with it.
The Stan Luter philosophy, right?
That's right. Keep shooting.
Rose keeps running up to the 38-yard line. That's a first down pickup. Rose starting to get unleashed here.
And that's over 20 touches.
17th carry of the game. And he also has 3 carries.
3 carries and then 2 kick returns.
Yep, that's right. And they wanted to get him that number. Leads all active FBS running backs, averaging 111.5 yards per game on the ground. Gets by Towns and then gets knocked out of bounds by Sims and Duck. Short pickup for Larry Rose that time.
What you've got to do if you're in New Mexico State is you can't play with fear. You go back to what you've had success with: short passes, stretching zones, getting the ball to the receivers and backs in the open flat area like there.
Rogers throws a screen to Huntley. Huntley makes a man miss. Across the 50, Huntley down to the 38. Still on his feet. They haven't called him out yet. Cuts across the field. Huntley heads to the end zone and scores. Huntley was tight roping the sideline. I thought he might have stepped out. Instead, it's a huge touchdown, catch and run for Jason Huntley, and the Aggies are back on top.
The flat routes, get your receivers in open space. Now you be the judge right there. He's coming right at you. Does he step out? No, he does not.
Gosh.
No, he does not.
How did he not step out?
Wow.
61 yards, and it's 30-24.
But you like that call. If you're New Mexico State, it's a safe call. You can advance the ball. You're trying to get first downs, keep the clock in your possession. And then you got a guy like, we talked about Rose being so explosive. I'm telling you, I am so impressed with Huntley. His ability to catch the ball in the open field and then make very little or nothing into something. He got hit in the backfield.
Yeah.
He got hit, broke the tackle, and then boom, all the way down the field, 61 yards later.
They've got two incredible weapons in Larry Rose, who we knew about, Jason Huntley, who we're really seeing for the first time. Rose is the better running back, the guy between the tackles, no doubt about it. Huntley's the guy you want to get in space, and he just showed you why. 61 yards, catch and run for the touchdown, and the Aggies are back up by a touchdown with 9:27 to play.
They nearly knocked off Arizona State the first weekend of the season, and Huntley had a 50-yard play. He had a couple catches for 84 yards, and that 51 was very reminiscent of that. Got you in the open field, broke a tackle, and boom, away he goes. Jason Huntley, only a sophomore. Remember that name.
Yeah, they nearly beat Troy. Remember, they lost 27-24 to Troy, and we all know that Troy just won at LSU this past weekend. A short kick this time as they keep it away from Ike Lewis. Hennigan takes it at the 31-yard line. So that's an effective short kick right there by New Mexico State, having been unable to stop Ike Lewis on the kick returns. And that's where the Mountaineers start on offense.
A late-game drive by Appalachian State a few weeks ago was a 7-point touchdown win against Texas State, a 1-point loss here 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest. So 2 of their 4 ball games have been close games down to the wire. Is this going to be yet another one?
1st and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Handoff goes to Jalen Moore. Spin move. Jalen Moore, look at him break out into the open. He's across the 50, across the 40, and Moore finally out of bounds at the 27-yard line, running like Walter Payton right there. Sweetness with the spin move.
My goodness. My goodness. Watch Jalen Moore. This is the offensive player of the year in the Sun Belt last year. There's a spin move. Faked out 4 different players and then gets a block and then picks up another 25 yards. Jalen Moore, he's back. Did you call sweetness?
Sweetness.
Sweetness, Jalen Moore.
1st and 10, ball at the 27-yard line. And the Aggies say there was movement by Victor Johnson up front. We'll see.
Oh, man.
There was movement. We'll find out who it's on.
False start, offense, number 75.
Yep, Victor Johnson. That's his third penalty.
Yes, his third penalty. What's that, number 8 for Appalachian on the afternoon?
Yep.
And you know, you hate to keep talking about the same thing, but if it happens, you got to talk about it. It's what you got us up here for, talk about stuff, is that they did the same thing in drives down the stretch against Wake Forest.
1st and 15, Jalen Moore squeezes through a tight hole and down to the 27 as he gets those 5 yards back.
Now, as this clock begins to dwindle, you have to be a sure tackler on both sides. Appalachian State has to do it if they're behind, and if you're New Mexico State, you want to try to make sure you get the tackle first if you're trying to get the strip. But you got to understand, Moore is a second effort runner.
15 carries, 159 for Moore. Pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. And now it's going to be 3rd down. 3rd down and 9. How about Jalen Moore, though? Coming into the game, 47 carries for 136 today. Today, 15 for 159.
Wow, that's his best all season, obviously.
Mountaineers are 0 for 8 on 3rd downs today. That's
I had to do a
amazing.
double take at my notes to see if that was right. I find that hard to believe. But that's what it is, so you got to get this. Play clock winding down, too.
They were 41% for the season coming in. And pass is nearly intercepted. Hennigan ends up with it, and Hennigan picks up that 1st down at the 12-yard line. A juggling act right in the middle of the field that Hennigan wins. And he's shaken up on the play.
Freshman Thomas Hennigan. There's a ball. It should have been intercepted. In some way, it bounces right back into his hands. He takes a lick right there at the end of this play by Harrington. But great concentration when they've needed big catches this season. They've looked the freshman's way. The slant was deflected. He takes a lick by one of the best tacklers in the conference. He's going to feel that in the morning, but a big play keeps the drive going for Appalachian.
And that was Harrington, like you mentioned, the best tackler in the conference, the number 1 tackler in the conference, and there was nothing illegal about that hit, just a hard hit coming in from the side, and hopefully Hennigan's going to be okay. But that was an incredible catch by Hennigan to catch that ball, to pluck it out of the air after LaForce had nearly intercepted it.
Over 3,000 yards total offense in his high school career at Northwest Guilford in Greensboro. A very tough guy that he continues to learn and get better. And as you mentioned a moment ago, had it not been for some injuries to some upperclassmen, we may not have seen him as much. He has turned into it developed into one of the best receivers in this conference, only a freshman.
So 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers at the 11-yard line. We're under 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and App State down a touchdown. Upshaw gets the carry, and Upshaw not going anywhere. Terrell Hanks, another big hit right there. I think they got back to the line of scrimmage, but that's tackle number 9 for Hanks today.
I like Hanks. They have all been very, very aggressive. They've made plays. They've been sure tacklers, and that's what you have to do now. You're in the red zone. This has got to be four down territory for Appalachian State. And I think you pound it inside. And this is when that little counteraction with the tight ends has been very effective as well.
2nd down. Handoff goes to Upshaw. He's got room on the edge. Cuts back and scores. Terrence Upshaw takes it in. And the Mountaineers are down by only 1 again. 2nd touchdown run of the afternoon for Terrence Upshaw.
Good block there. Counteraction, and this is just speed and a lot of want to. Go Nunn among there after leading the block. Nunn and Gossett, the all-conference offensive lineman, but that's all on Upshaw.
Here's Rubino. All of a sudden, the PATs have become a little bit of a dicey thing here at App State. But this one's right down the middle. We're tied at 31. Wow, what a game between a team that was picked overwhelmingly 7 of the 12 first-place votes to win the conference against a team picked to finish 10th in a 12-team league in their last year in the league.
They double-team the inside guy, the defensive tackle, and that allows a little bit of latitude for Upshaw. Can he go inside? Does he bounce in? Does he kick it to the outside? He's got the speed. He gets another block on the end of the play by Gossett. And boom, you've got 6 points.
Well, Doug Martin said this was a huge measuring stick game for New Mexico State, just like the Troy game. He's probably thinking less about measuring sticks and more about getting the upset here, as his team tied at 31 with 7:13 to play and about to get the ball back.
Think about it. They traveled to Arkansas, played them last week, and they played well. Arkansas just dominated them on the line of scrimmage. Couldn't get Arkansas off the field on 3rd down. Won that football game. Go back to New Mexico, fly across country. They get in about 3 o'clock this morning, maybe even later than that, depends on who you ask. And then they're playing a very
Pooch kick, and the ball has been recovered by App State. And it went 10 yards. But the flag is down at the 46. Did they touch it before it went 10 yards? That is the question.
The obvious question to me is, was it offside? But wow.
An air ball pooch kick that went roughly 10 yards.
Well, let's take a look at this.
And that was caught in the air by Ike Lewis.
A special teams player of the week in my mind.
No doubt about it. But let's check the penalty flag right here.
A member of the receiving team gave a valid fair catch signal, subsequently interfered with by the kicking team who caught the ball. This is kick catch interference, 15 yards, automatic first down for the receiving team.
All right, let's take it
in the air. He's got to be allowed to make a play. And he gave a fair catch. I don't know if I could see the fair catch sign.
Well, you see, we got all the smoke there because of
the touchdown,
the fireworks.
Yeah.
Lomax is saying, I called fair catch and I got hit. I don't know if we have another angle on that, but Lomax clearly said, look, I called fair catch, and that's exactly what the officials have agreed. And now it backfires on App State. Not only do they not get the ball, now they give it up to the Aggies at the 31.
And see, I think everybody's concerned about were you onside or did it go 10 yards? But the other part of that is making sure there's a fair catch call. You have to give them a chance to catch it just like you would a punt.
Right.
Just like you would a punt.
Well, especially when you raise your arm. Rose with the handoff, and Rose gets stuck at the line of scrimmage. No running room for Rose right there. Flory was there. Boggs was there. Short gain, if any, for the Aggies. But certainly a decision that leaves you open for second guessing if you're Coach Satterfield. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, like it didn't, you give up the ball at the 31-yard line in a tie ball game. They rolled the dice. We'll see if it works. Rodgers fires. Intercepted again! My goodness, Clifton Duck's got the pick. Still on his feet. Duck across the 40. And Duck finally out of bounds at the 29-yard line. 5 interceptions for the Mountaineers cornerbacks today. I've never seen anything like it. Tay Hayes has 3, and now Clifton Duck has his second.
Clifton Duck, quack, quack, comes up with another big-time play. Take a look at this. Duck reads it, steps in front of the intended receiver. You got to fight for the ball. John Boone doesn't do that. Duck goes after it, takes it into territory. There's a flag down. Oh, my goodness.
Incredible.
Watch this again. Quick drop. And you see Boone's fighting for it, but Duck wants it more. Just steps in between the ball and the receiver and then becomes an offensive player. Look at that. Move there. Tell somebody, give me a block right here. I'm going to the house. Tay Hayes has got 3. I got 2. We got the ball. We're looking for 6.
I have never seen anything quite like this. 5 interceptions by the cornerbacks today. Handoff goes to Jalen Moore, looking for a hole to cut into, and Hanks gets him on the ground after Wright had hit him at the ankles, and that's a pickup of 2 on the play for Jalen Moore. Clock now approaching 6 minutes. It'll be under 6 minutes likely by the time the Mountaineers snap the ball again.
I don't think you become in a hurry if you're Appalachian.
No.
You take your time, but you got to have positive yards. You got to have 3, 4, 5 yards of play.
Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining. That's a backwards pass. Malik Williams is going to throw the ball downfield for Hennigan. It's caught for a touchdown. Well, how about that? Coach Scott Satterfield reaching into his bag of tricks here in the 4th quarter. The double pass. Malik Williams with the touchdown toss to Thomas Hennigan.
Chester, South Carolina, the redshirt freshman's got a little quarterback in him. Throws to the guy that has really been making plays all year long. Hennigan with the big catch and the touchdown.
37-31. And Rubino. And play blown dead before the kick. Some pushing and shoving going on there at the line of scrimmage right now, as the big fellas are debating who the penalty's on.
Prior to the snap, full start, kicking team, number 74. 5 yards, redo the try for a point.
Brock McCauley, so that'll back up the Mountaineers 5 yards. How about Scott Satterfield? Tried an onside kick here. Looked like it was going to work, kind of backfired on him a little bit. Then you get a big pick-me-up from Clifton Duck and then a double pass to take the lead. PAT makes it 38-31. Wow. Here it is, the double pass. Malik Williams downfield to Thomas Hennigan. The Mountaineers have the lead. And they have fueled this Appalachian State lead. In fact, all 38 points that the Mountaineers have scored have come directly after the 5 interceptions by those 2 guys.
You asked me about 4 interceptions, didn't you? I don't know about 5 now.
Yeah, that's a big number.
4 I can work with. I don't know about 5.
5's too much.
5 might just be, and I don't know, but the way this offense Nothing is impossible right now.
So the Aggies go back on offense, having surrendered their 31-24 lead with 2 consecutive touchdowns here by the Mountaineers. They start at the 25. Pass thrown to Huntley. Huntley with room on the edge. Breaks through a couple more tackles. He's across the 50. And finally shoved out of bounds by Des Franklin at the 30-yard line. Welcome to the Sun Belt, Jason Huntley.
You kidding me? Come on now.
Where did he come from?
Come on now. Just an easy pass. A step there, boom, find the guy in motion. He's in the flat, and then let speed take over. Watch this. Jason. Lucky to get it.
1st and 10 from the 30. Huntley approaching 200 yards of offense today. Rose with the on the play. Huntley now approaching 150 yards receiving. Actually, pardon me, let me correct that. He's got 106 yards receiving and 96 yards rushing. So he's over 200 for the day. He had 123 yards rushing and 93 yards receiving for the season when the game started. Rodgers fires. Oh, in and out of the hands of Dan. Drew Dan had it. And you know, they front with Jaleel Scott out with his injury.
Yeah, but they've adjusted, I think, to Jaleel Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaleel Scott would certainly help him. I'm not going to take anything away from it. But there are other guys that have stepped up and made plays, especially Huntley.
Yeah, Huntley.
So, you know, I'd buy him a little bit more, but they've had guys do plays.
Yeah, Huntley's the guy that has stood up and made it happen. Empty backfield on 3rd down. Rodgers, heavy rush, he's in trouble, gets away from it. Directing traffic downfield as he scrambles, fires, and nearly intercepted again, and nearly caught by Dan at the 21, broken up, and now it's 4th down.
Man, there was so much going on right then. I mean, from
that was like backyard football.
It was backyard, and you know what I really liked? The offensive linemen of New Mexico State, none of them went down the field. So he gave him a chance. They came back for 2nd and 3rd block attempts. The Appalachian defenders, there's Boggs. He's tired because he's been chasing this guy all afternoon. And it could come down to this with 4:33 to go.
4th down and 6 at the 27. They've got to get to right about the 20. Rodgers, heavy rush, steps up to avoid it, dumps it off to Huntley. There's that man again, and he has got another 1st down. What an incredible second effort by Jason Huntley. Hit and dives forward 3 yards to get the 1st.
Man, he's going to be tired when this game is over. I'm going to tell you that because he is really exerting effort. Almost gets the sack there by Sims. Rodgers gets away. They're going to look at this. I think they're going to look at the
they want to check the spot.
Yeah.
Was that the runner made the line to gain for a 1st down. Previous play is under further review.
See, I thought he needed to get the ball over the nose of the 20-yard line. The spot is actually a little bit behind the 20-yard line.
All right. Boggs hits him at the 43. Oh, man, the ball was down short of the 20.
Yeah.
The ball was down short of the 20. The problem is they've moved the sticks already.
Well, they can move them, remeasure. But
well,
I think
the first down markers.
Yeah. I think the hook of the ball, if we look at this again, the way he's got the ball cradled, I think it's short of the 20-yard line.
But I think it's going to be a hard one to overrule.
I agree. I totally agree.
Because remember, the evidence on the replay has to be conclusive to overturn the call on the field, and I don't know. I don't know that they got it there. But what a day for Jason Huntley. He's got more yards today than he had coming in for the entire season. Hard to tell right there. It does look like the ball is shy of the 20.
The runner's knee was down with the ball on the 20 and 1/2 yard line. and he did not make the line to gain.
Yeah.
This results in a first down for Appalachian State.
Yeah. That's the right
Set the
call.
game clock, 4 minutes and 26 seconds. 4 minutes and 26 seconds.
That is a huge call, but it's also the right call.
You know what? I love this game. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can get mad at officials sometimes because you don't know rules. Fans do that all the time. Writers do. TV people do it sometimes. This crew has done an outstanding job today because there have been a lot of bizarre plays. The onside kick, a couple of interceptions. Was it a fumble? Was it an interception? That play there, the marking of the ball, the crew has done a great job. I tip my cap to them.
Yeah, they did a great job on that call, and now the ball goes over on downs, and now the Aggies got to get a stop here against a Mountaineers team that is probably the best in the conference at milking the clock and draining the seconds off the clock. Short run right there. They're happy with that right there by Terrence Upshaw because that'll burn another 40 seconds.
When do you use your timeouts if you're New Mexico State? I think if they can stop them there, one of the timeouts.
I agree with that totally. But the clock continues to run here, and they're going to burn as much time as they can.
Play clock down to 12.
Handoff goes to Jalen Moore, and Moore picks up the first down. A huge run by Jalen Moore. That puts him over 170 yards rushing for the day.
He's back. It's about the offensive line. Get a good job there by Duffield. Gets the first down.
Ball at the 40. Clock running, less than 3:20 to play now. Keeper Lamb this time. Remember, he had a 38-yard touchdown run earlier in this quarter. Owens makes the tackle on Lamb, and Lamb goes down at the 44. Pick up a 4. Now you're under 3 minutes to play here. They did use a timeout. I was getting ready to say if the clock continues to run, you're going to be under 3 minutes to play by the time they snap it again, but they decided to go ahead and burn a timeout right here, which I think was the wise thing to do.
I totally agree with you. We're agreeing on everything today. What's wrong with us?
Must be this water we're drinking.
Must be the water. Hey, but that's good. Yeah, it shows that good minds think alike.
2nd down and 6 coming up, so having now burned that timeout, the game is on this set of downs right here. They've got to keep them from getting another first down. One more first down with the Aggies down to just 2 timeouts might be the end of the game.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think that if you're New Mexico State, this is when you've got to be a shrewd tackle, maybe see if you can stand somebody and get a strip. But you've got to be concerned with getting the runner down and stopped, get this clock stopped. Their offense is explosive enough that they don't really need, they play in a 2-minute drill, basically.
2nd down and 6. Duffield, the blocking back. Handoff goes to Jalen Moore. They get him on the ground at the 49. Famasino making the tackle. 1 yard shy. Do they burn a timeout here? They have elected not to use their 2nd timeout here. It's 3rd down. Play clock at 23, so the Mountaineers haven't even come to the line of scrimmage yet. They're going to let that thing burn way on down. They don't have to snap the ball until about 2:20 on the clock or thereabouts.
Gambled for it on kickoff, onside kick, got a defensive stop, and then the big play gets them a touchdown.
He moved.
Oh, my goodness.
The center moved the ball. The freshman Noah Hannon flexed that ball. That's going to be a 5-yard mark-off against App State.
60, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
What a critical penalty right there. That's penalty number 11 on App today.
Too many penalties, too many crucial times. Noah Hannon, the freshman, has played very well in his first 4 games as an Appalachian player, but just a costly mental mistake as a center.
But what that also did was that means that the Aggies had to burn a timeout here because with the penalty, they reset the ball. The play clock went back to 25, and they started the clock. Though they're going to put the time back up.
30-second timeout.
But I think the clock was running, so the Aggies had to burn a timeout.
Man, you're in still a lot of time. Third down, what's that? Third and about 6 now.
So 38-31, App State. New Mexico State will be at Georgia Southern next Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern from Statesboro. I'll be working that game with Tioka Jackson. So join us for that one next Saturday on ESPN3. And then the perhaps the most difficult trip in the conference to make from Boone to Moscow.
Moscow, Idaho. Pretty when you get there.
Yeah.
Just takes a little time to do it.
If you can get there.
You don't need to be in a hurry. Bring a good book.
And plenty of snacks because the trip is a long one. 3rd down and 6. Ball is at the 44.
Run, short pass. What do you think?
Handoff.
Jalen
Moore, and he's got the first down. And Moore, he might go. He will. Game, set, match. That, folks, will do it. All they needed was a first down. They got a 56-yard touchdown, 44-31.
Little counteraction. There's a block there, a peel black block made by Hannon. Good job made by Gossett. You get receivers down the field. Duffield with the block that kind of boom leads the way. You weren't sure if Moore was going to try to take as much as he could and go down. He says, why sit down when I can get 6?
45-31. The final score will in no way be indicative what this afternoon
watch the block
and
at the point of attack. 60, 75. 75 with a huge block to free things. And then away we go. Jalen Moore. We missed
game of his career and close to a new career high. He had 257 against Akron last year. He had 244 against Idaho in 2015. He's gone for 241 today on 19 carries.
I was about to ask you how many carries. 19.
Yep.
In that game against Akron, he had that in 39 carries.
12.7 yards per carry today.
But this is what Jalen Moore can do for you.
Wow, how about that?
Speed, you see the power, gets to the outside, and is very, very difficult to bring down. But have we not seen some guys that can really run the freshman Huntley? Yeah. I mean, I came in with my eyes on Rose, but Huntley's just phenomenal.
And Rose has had close to 100 yards of offense himself. This will not be returned. And so the Aggies will bring it out to the 25-yard line. But at this point, it would take an absolute miracle as they're down 2 touchdowns with 2. Jalen Moore. They've been waiting for Jalen Moore to show up here in 2017. Well, folks, he's arrived.
9 carries, 57 yards is his best this year against Savannah State. And he's just been, you know, really good, but that week off gives him a chance to heal, and man, did he heal well. You like that, giving his offensive line, give him some love, giving those guys some love, because they'll do it again for him.
So now Rogers and the Aggies throw through the smoke, complete to Hogan. Hogan picking them up and putting them down, and Hogan tracked down at the 47-yard line. First down as the Aggies run to the line of scrimmage to run another play. That stops the clock just to move the chains. The chains haven't set yet. 2:02. Now they're set and running. Under 2 minutes to play. Rogers, and off the hands of Hogan, who had just had a big catch. This time he was running before he caught it.
Joey Jones, Brett Streetlow dropped me some information just a second ago. The 5 interceptions they have ties a record that was set in 1991 against Mississippi College and way back in 1968 against Elon. So they have had 5 interceptions. They didn't tell me if they won the game or not. I'm assuming they did.
I'd say it's hard not to win when you get 5 picks. Rodgers across the middle. It is caught by Kramer. And Kramer at the first down marker, the 43. And we reflect back just how big was that spot and the call by the replay official. They had ruled on the field that the Aggies had picked up the first down at the 20. Upon further review, they reversed the call. And now it's 45-31.
Well, they say football's a game of inches, right?
It was. It was today, once again. On a day when 76 total points were scored, it came down to inches in the fourth quarter. Rodgers chased, running for his life, trying to throw on the run, lobs it up top, and intercepted again, but I don't think this one's going to count.
No,
yes, it will.
It is.
Tay Hayes just got his 4th interception of the day. That is unreal. If it stands, the call on the field is he was inbounds.
Oh my goodness.
If it stands, that is his 4th interception of the day. Unbelievable.
Foot's down. You need one
his foot was down.
You need
Amazing.
1 foot inbounds in college football. Tay Hayes, 4 interceptions. Appalachian, 6 on the afternoon.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable performance by these cornerbacks of the Appalachian State Mountaineers today.
And we knew they were going to be challenged with the outstanding wide receivers, the big play capabilities of New Mexico State's wideouts, and the Appalachian State defensive back stepped up, answered the call totally.
Tay Hayes with 4 interceptions, a new school record, 6 interceptions in one game. You had the 2 picks as well by Clifton Duck, and a huge day for Jalen Moore. They win today on a day where Taylor Lamb passed for only 48 yards. In fact, Taylor Lamb ran for more yards than he passed. 79 yards, rushing a 38-yard huge touchdown run in the fourth quarter. Unbelievable, just a wacky game here in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt Fun Belt, no doubt about it. It's been a fun one today, and more fun for App than New Mexico State as they're going to win a thriller.
4 interceptions, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions by Tay Hayes. Tay, you're going to see your name in the paper come Monday.
Well, they don't read the paper anymore, my friend, but he'll see it on his phone.
I'm going to look at the paper. I'm still old school. I look in the newspaper first, and then on the internet machine, all that good stuff. But I tell you, I'm looking for history. It'll be in a record book, right?
Yeah.
Want to be in a book? Okay, then.
The written record.
Any way you look at it, what a phenomenal afternoon by Tay Hayes.
Incredible performance. App State.
And the thing of it is, they only had 3. So, who would have thunk it?
After review, the defender did not maintain possession
prior
to going out of bounds, resulting in an incomplete pass. Second down at the previous spot.
You mean all the stuff we just said and all the records we were talking about? Tay, you're still going to be in the record books.
We said all that, and none of it counts. So, obviously,
just edit.
Yeah, just cut all that out, fellas. Post. Y'all can cut that out in post. How about that? Apparently, he didn't have
let's
control.
Take a look here. We were looking at the feet. We didn't look at the control. So he kind of brings it back to the body, I guess.
And the ball ended up on the ground, too.
Yeah.
So we were busy looking at his foot. Didn't bother to see that he had it in his hands or not.
So the 1968 record still stands. We got a minute and 22 left, right?
Yeah, the Aggies still got a shot here, although they're down 2 touchdowns. They got to score 1 and then, of course, get the ball back with an onside kick or something like that. A long way from that happening. Rodgers guns it to the far sideline, and that is picked by Clifton Duck. Is that going to count? Yes. So they do get the 6 picks. But instead of Tay getting 4 and Clifton Duck getting 2, Tay Hayes gets 3 and Clifton Duck gets 3. It's a double hat trick.
I can't believe. Okay. Everything I said about the record, forget it. It's back on there.
That's
Clifton
right.
Duck, who had 5 picks last year, had 1 already on the season. The Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year from the freshman side. gets an interception, and I'm done. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Well, that's good because we only have 1:16 to play, and we're not going to have another meaningful snap. So you can be speechless because App State has won the game 45-31.
And according to my record book notes, I had paper in front of me. New Mexico State had thrown 5 interceptions once in a ball game last year against Troy. So it had been done. Now they set a record. And what a great game.
Fun game, no doubt about it. And your hearts break a little bit for New Mexico State because they played an incredible ball game here today. They had a 31-24 lead at one point here in the fourth quarter. And instead, they dropped to 0-2 in the Sun Belt, and App State will be 2-0 in the Sun Belt. In fact, there will not be another play run here today. Scott Satterfield takes over 5th place all by himself, all-time winning list for the Appalachian State Mountaineers, as this is career win number 35 for him. And it was a fun one, no doubt about it, a fun one to call, and a tough one for Doug Martin and the fellows as they head back to New Mexico with a loss.
This is one of those games, as well as New Mexico State played most of this ball game, you hate to see them go down, but Appalachian State fought like a champion, down a touchdown, comes up with great defensive plays and big-time runs by big.
State now 3-2 overall, 2-0 in the Sun Belt. Their next game will be at Idaho. New Mexico State drops to 2-4 and 0-2 in the conference. They're at Georgia Southern next week. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live on the ESPN